It's the Southern Ohio Copperheads and the Cincinnati Steam from Bob Wren Stadium. Copperheads are trying to avoid elimination today, while the Cincinnati Steam are trying to keep themselves in a spot for the GLSEL South playoffs. Good evening and welcome to the broadcast booth. My name is Sedric Granger and I'm joined by Tim Hanna. And Tim, the Copperheads, they fell to the Settlers yesterday 1-3, but there were a lot of positives in that matchup.
There were. We saw the pitching staff really kind of all come together. A couple of guys that had rough outings in their last appearances came in, pitched really well. Looking at you, Andrew Lyon, nice job yesterday. Nice recovery game yesterday, as well as Josh Robinson pitched well, and then Colin Ryan on the mound to get things started as well. So we'll have Luke Borer on the mound today. Pitched really well against the Cincinnati Steam on July 4th, so we'll see if he can keep that same thing going here.
Yeah, the Copperheads, it'll be Luke Borer, like Tim said, on the mound today. Copperheads have pitched 5 straight shutout innings. They're going to try to make it 14 by the end of today. So once again, Sedric Granger and Tim Hanna will be on the call tonight for what's going to be going down here from Athens. So we're about to be underway here at Bob Wren Stadium as Luke Borer warms up. We'll go over the batting order for the Cincinnati Steam, who will be rocking their red jerseys today. Copperheads wearing orange jerseys at home for the first time. But batting first will be Tommy Thaman, the right fielder. Then it'll be second, Corey Miley, who's playing second base. Mac Freeze, who's batting third, playing first base. Luke Huen, who's batting fourth for the Steam, and will be playing catcher. Hayden Christensen, the left fielder, will be batting fifth. Kyle Westfall, the center fielder, will bat sixth. Klasner, Butler, and Lopez will be 7th, 8th, and 9th, and will be playing third base, designated hitter, and shortstop, respectively. So that's the lineup for the Steam. Tim, what's the alignment looking like here for the Copperheads?
On the mound today for the Copperheads, Ohio University's Luke Borer will be on the mound today. You see him warming up. There behind the dish will be Sebastian Silva. Infield, a little bit of a switch-up. Mitch Klass getting the night off. Bam Thomas will be there at first. Of course, all-star Mason Nadolny at third. Maverick Stallings and Carson Shepard. Your middle of the infield, Clayton Hodges, Kyle Ratliff, and Trey Rucker out there in the outfield.
And for Luke Borer, this will be his 7th appearance. Last time that he got the start was against the Cincinnati Steam squad, and he delivered, pitching 5 innings, only allowing 1 run, 2 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts in that huge win against the Cincinnati Steam. Borer and Beery really held down the fourth. Those two have been quite a nice tandem. We've seen them against the Scouts as well earlier this season, which was the last appearance for Borer, who he went 2 innings pitched, 1 run, 1 earned run, 2 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, and then pick up the win against the Scouts. So big deal there for the Copperheads, and they'll look to try to get a win here. They're coming into this game at 11-19, having lost 5 straight, and it's do or die time, Tim. If the Copperheads lose today, they are eliminated from playoff contention. So starting it off here is going to be Tommy Thaman for the Cincinnati Steam. He's batting .308 on the year and driven in 9 RBIs, and he'll take the first pitch outside and low for ball number 1. So it's 1-0 to Tommy Thaman as we're getting underway here on a beautiful, beautiful evening once again. The weather has been absolutely terrific as of late, as we'll see the 1-0 pitch on its way from Borer. That time it is on the money, hitting that strike zone over the plate for strike number 1. As Tommy Thaman was an all-star this year, he did score a run on a Deering RBI double, so he was able to be the benefactor of Deering's big day. So we'll see the 1-1 swung on and missed for strike number 2. So, Tim, it looks like we got some new camera angles going on here. What's been up with that?
We do. We were doing some research and found that the cameras built in here at Bob Wren Stadium were accessible. So, big thank you to Mr. Harry Tompkins.
And they got him looking. Down goes Tommy Thaman as Luke Borer starts his day out with a strikeout.
Big thank you to Harry Tompkins, former professor at Hocking College. Was in communication with me about some things we're doing behind the scenes here to make the stream better. And he said, well, maybe those cameras here at the stadium still work. And we set everything up this morning. And so big thank you to him, as we'll bring you a couple of different angles today.
Corey Miley, the new batter, is going to take the first pitch for a ball going outside of the plate. As Corey Miley's batting .288 on the year, driven in 4 RBIs for the junior out of Coppin State. But Tim, it's really great being able to see all of your guys' work really come through. It's great to have these extra angles. You'll see the 1-0. It's going to be driven out into right field. Trey Rucker is there, takes a couple paces backwards, makes the catch about 10 feet in front of the track for out number 2.
Really kind of cool to see, too. Will be probably a little bit choppy here as we get things started, but I'll get the hang of it eventually. I'm double dipping into producer duties as well a little bit today.
Tim is your do-it-all guy. He can do the broadcasting, can do the producing, do a little bit of everything as well. And Tim, you'll definitely be missed this weekend, as I know you'll be headed off to drill, but we're glad to have you as well for this last matchup of the weekdays, as we'll see the first pitch to Freeze. He's going to hit it right out to Nadolny at third base, who fields it, delivers it out to Bam Thomas at first base, and the Copperheads are able to take out the steam. 1, 2, 3. So when we come back, the Copperheads will be batting for the first time in the bottom of the first inning. It'll be Carson Shepard, Clayton Hodges, and Kyle Ratliff for the Copperheads. No score here from Bob Wren Stadium. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. The bottom of the first inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. The bottom of the first is presented to you by Ohio Health, as well as Larry's Doghouse. So we're appreciative of both of our sponsors here today. The Copperheads and Cincinnati Steam are tied up at nothing going into the bottom of the first inning. And on the mound for the Cincinnati Steam today will be Braxton Foley, who has a 5.82 ERA. Struck out 16 batters, walked 9, and has pitched 3 1/3 innings, 3 runs, all earned, 5 hits, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks in his last appearance against the Mariners. And he's never pitched against the Copperheads this year, so getting his opportunity. And one fun fact about him, he goes to school in Lancaster, but not Lancaster, Ohio, Lancaster, South Carolina. Now for the Copperheads, their lineup and their order is going to be starting off with Carson Shepard, the second baseman, followed by Clayton Hodges batting second, playing left field. Kyle Ratliff playing center field will be batting third. Trey Rucker will be batting cleanup, and he'll be playing right field today. Mason Nadolny from his third base position will be batting fifth. Bam Thomas batting sixth and playing first base today. Sebastian Silva is the catcher behind the dish, and he will be batting seventh. Ian Crump will be batting eighth, and Maverick Stallings will end out the lineup there at batting ninth.
Defensively for the Cincinnati Steam, Max Freeze, Drew Klassener on the corners of the infield. Corey Miley, Gabriel Lopez, the center of the infield. Hayden Christensen, Kyle Westfall, and Tommy Thaman. Tommy Thaman, one of the South All-Stars to score in that All-Star game just a couple of days ago. I believe came in off Austin Deering RBI.
Yep, you remember right on the money, as Deering was the MVP, and Thaman was able to get home off of a big hit there. Shepard shows bunt, and it is outside for ball number 1. So it's quickly 1-0 to number 1, Carson Shepard, who went 0 for 4 against the Settlers, but otherwise was on quite a run where he's been able to get on base a high percentage of the time, over 40%. As we'll see the 1-0. Looks like it hits the edge of the zone for strike number 1. So the count is 1-1 to Carson Shepard in a scoreless game here at Bob Wren Stadium. Copperheads trying to pull off some upsets and stay alive in the playoff race. They're living off of a prayer as we see strike number 2. A little controversial there as you see some chirps from the crowd. We have a smaller audience than we did yesterday. I mean, it's hard to get back over 1,000 after the amazing crowd we had yesterday. We see the 1-2 outside for ball number 2. But still, pretty awesome crowd we have today here at Bob Wren Stadium. We can never take that for granted.
Official attendance numbers yesterday, over 2,000 people. So definitely one of the better crowds we've seen all year.
Drop strike 3 by Carson Shepard. He's trying to run out to first base. He's not going to be able to leg it out as play is made in time, and the strikeout is completed. So Carson Shepard goes down on strikes, and that'll bring on Clayton Hodges, who is on a 4-game hitless streak and will try to break out of it here with this at-bat. The bottom of the first inning, Copperheads wearing their orange jerseys, green batting helmets, white pants. First time we're seeing this combination this season. And the Cincinnati Steam will be wearing their blue hats, red jerseys, and gray pants. First pitch to Hodges is popped up high into the air and back into foul territory, and will go out of play, bounce off of the dugout and over the stands. So strike number 1 on the foul ball for Clayton Hodges, who played very well from left field yesterday, as he was very solid. Had that one play where he threw it to Jordan Long out to second base, where he showed an absolute cannon of an arm.
Yeah, played really well out there in the outfield. Didn't let too many balls get past him, and of course only had that one big hit allowed out there, and it was a really well hit ball his direction.
The 0-1's going to be hit right to the middle of the field, and that's going to be a base hit for Clayton Hodges. It's fielded by Kyle Westfall, but too late. So now one runner on as the 4-game hitless streak for Hodges is over.
One interesting thing to note about tonight's game, Sedric, Copperheads 4-0 in their last 4 games, playing on a Thursday. So not saying anything's going to happen tonight, Sedric, but love to see them able to get it done.
As you
Thursdays.
said, they sure do. Copperheads are a Thursday team, as you said before the game, Tim, when we were going over notes. As we'll see the first pitch here to Kyle Ratliff, swung on and missed for strike number 1. Kyle Ratliff last game went 1 for 4, 1 run. It was the only run scored yesterday against the Licking County Settlers in that 3-1 loss. And he's on a streak where he's had a hit in every game in July, including the All-Star game. So he's been on a roll, but he'll swing and miss there for strike number 2. With 1 down in the inning, Clayton Hodges on first base. Copperheads trying to strike first here against the Cincinnati Steam, where these two teams are playing their 5th game. This game was supposed to happen on July 5th. See a slow pickoff attempt there. But the game was supposed to happen July 5th and then rained out, at least on paper, but it turned out the evening ended up being a spectacular night, as sometimes you can't predict the weather. Another pickoff attempt there, not in time. So Kyle Ratliff facing an 0-2 count from Braxton Foley, delivers a pitch. He gets a little piece of it, and it's fouled backwards. So we'll remain at 0-2, as Trey Rucker will go and get the ball there as he's in the on-deck circle.
One of the things I'm probably going to say one too many times tonight, Sedric, is this team has got to be able to score runs tonight. The Cincinnati Steam, a team that knows how to put up runs and will more than likely put up runs, barring anything spectacular from Luke Bohr, just a team of really solid hitters. So in order to stay competitive in this one, the Copperheads are going to have to start putting runs up on the board.
Sure do. Their pitching's kept them in the games, but they're going to need some help from the bats. And there it is, Kyle Ratliff hitting it out to left field, right over the edge of the infield and into left field for the base hit. So Kyle Ratliff comes through. His July continues, as now he's had a hit in every single game in July, and it continues into the next game.
Showing why he was selected as an all-star alternate initially, and then due to injuries and withdrawals from a couple other players, got his chance to shine in the all-star game and made a really impressive catch out there in the outfield for those who didn't see it.
Trey Rucker's now up, and he'll foul off the first pitch high up into the foul territory, the nice little grass berm on the first base side for strike number 1. As Trey Rucker was able to drive in Kyle Ratliff yesterday in that 7th inning, went 1 for 3, and of course had that 1 RBI I just referred to against the Settlers. And after a 4-game hitless streak that he had at the beginning of July, he has has a hit in 6 out of his last 8 games now. As we'll see the 0-1 off the mark for a ball. So it's 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out to Trey Rucker with 2 runners on, Hodges on second, Ratliff on first. Here's the pitch, double steal attempt. Ratliff goes in, he's safe, and so is Hodges. Double steal by the Southern Ohio Copperheads.
Heads up base run in there. Got to be aggressive here to start, and Trey Rucker with only 1 out. Anything hit out into the infield will likely score Clayton Hodges, and the Copperheads will be able to jump out to a lead in this one.
Be ideal for the Copperheads as it's been a little while since they've led. The Settlers have had control of most of their last games, as we've seen the 2-1 pitch there in the zone for strike number 2. So the count is 2-2 to Trey Rucker to get some encouragement from the crowd. See if he can make it 2 straight games with an RBI, as we'll see a small timeout on the field. Cincinnati Steam trying to follow up a great performance they had last night, beating the Hamilton Joes 7-6. As we'll see the 2-2. Trey Rucker reaches out for that one and fouls it off back towards the Hockin River behind the stadium. But that win allowed the Steam to jump the Joes in the standings. The Steam sit at second place at 17-13. And for lack of a better term, they've really been picking up steam over the last few games, as we see the 2-2 swung on and missed. That's the second strikeout for Braxton Foley. Now that makes 18 on the season, matching his jersey number.
Finding the zone really well in these last couple of at-bats. Hodges and Ratliff able to sneak one through the infield, but aside from that, Braxton doing a really good job finding the zone.
Donnie takes the first pitch high and inside for ball number 1. So the count is 1-0 to Donnie. He's batting .321 on the year, 6 RBIs, and went 1 for 4 versus the Settlers. And he was a big reason why the Copperheads will be able to score, as he was able to force a runners on the corner situation and advance Ratliff to third base. And then Trey Rucker ended up finishing the job. But count is 2-0 with 2 outs, 2 runners on for the Copperheads, and a scoreless game here in the bottom of the first inning as Foley pitches, and that time it is right over the plate for strike number 1.
Foley right now, 12 strikes to just 6 balls. So, as I said before, finding the zone really well, and it's going to continue to pound that throughout the entire game.
2-1 to Nadani, swung on and missed for strike number 2. So, evened up count, 2-2. With 2 runners on, the Copperheads have had some back-breaking situations where they left runners on base, and they cannot afford to do it here, although it is just the bottom of the first inning. I think just for morale of the team as well, to be able to get something early. The 2-2 fouled off right towards the dugout of the Cincinnati Steam, so Nadani stays alive and helps to increase that pitch count from Braxton Foley.
If the Copperheads are able to get into the bullpen of the Cincinnati Steam, a team with quite a few arms, but not as many quality arms as some of the other teams in the league, especially when you get further down the bullpen list.
The 2-2 is outside. Good discipline from Nadani not to chase that one, and now it's a full count with 2 outs, 2 runners on. Base hit will score a runner. Walk will make the bases loaded. Strike will end the inning. 3-2. And it misses the plate outside. Mason Nadani with the solid take there. And now the bases are loaded for the Copperheads.
A really patient hitter in there in the box. Had a couple he kind of liked. You see him kind of perk up a little bit when he gets a couple of those higher ones. But good job by him sitting on it. Knew the situation that he was in, and now Bam Thomas with a ball in play likely scored 2 runs. Yeah, 1-2.
Bases are loaded. 2 outs, and here comes Bam Thomas batting .189 on the year, driven in 4 RBIs, and he'll take the first pitch over the plate for a strike. Bam Thomas had a couple of hits in that doubleheader matchup against the Settlers, but went 0 for 3 yesterday. The 0-1. This time go in the inside of the zone, just over the edge of the plate. So now it's quickly 0-2 to Bam Thomas, as the Copperheads have been able to avert a couple of two-strike situations, but this may be their biggest yet. With the bases loaded, Hodges on third, Ratliff on second, and Donnie on first, Bam Thomas faces an 0-2 count. Fouls off the 0-2, so we remain at 0-2 as Braxton Foley is going to try to shut the door and leave three stranded.
Copperheads need to get one here. Haven't seen offensive production like that since that Mariners game. The run rule walk off, and the bats have been a little bit cold since then, in the run department at least.
0-2 misses low and outside, so now the count is 1-2 as it has been quite a while. It hasn't been easy for the Copperheads having to play the three teams at the top of the league, as you had to play the Settlers multiple times, the Joes. So Settlers 3 times, Joes once in that stretch, and now you're facing the Cincinnati Steam, who are in second place. All those teams sitting in the top 3 slots. As we'll see the 1-2, it's going to be driven out into center field. Kyle Westfall's there and makes the catch, and the Copperheads leave 3 on the bases. And we've seen this happen time and time again, Tim, and it's something the Copperheads cannot afford, man.
No, they've got to figure out ways to maybe hit into the holes of the defense, but yeah, it's tough when you got 3 guys on, a really good opportunity to score, and just not able to get the job done, unfortunately.
So in the scoreless game headed to the second inning, the Copperheads and Steam are tied at 0, and when we come back, it'll be Luke Huen, Hayden Christensen, and Kyle Westfall, the 4, 5, 6 batters for the Cincinnati Steam. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the second inning here at Bob Wren Stadium, and this game is scoreless. Top of the second inning is presented to you by Jackie O's. So for all of our Copperheads fans over the age of 21, make sure to try out the Homer's Hazy IPA. So looking at the standings right now in the GLSCL South, the Settlers sitting atop at 19-12 with an impressive 9-1 record in their last 10. And then the Cincinnati Steam, who the Copperheads are facing today, are 17-13 and 7-3 over their last 10, a really solid record. It's been the difference between them and the third place Hamilton Joes, who are 17-14, but 4-6 in their last 10. So Copperheads trying to pull off some upsets can really help, as we know all the Hamilton Joes fans are going to be rooting for the Copperheads, as well as the Settlers if they want to keep getting some more leverage and some more space between their spot at first and all the second place teams. So we'll see Luke Huen take the first pitch here from Luke Bohr, and it's over the plate for strike number 1.
One thing I really like about this new camera angle that we're using is the camera position here, Bob Wren, directly behind home plate. So you really get a good sense of where the balls and strikes are coming in at. Obviously, the height is one thing that you don't see 100%, but at least the left-right.
0-1, chopped over to Mason Adoni. He makes the throw out to Bam Thomas in time for out number 1. So Mason Adoni's had to see a little bit of action coming his way for the second time today, and he's able to make the play. As he's done all season long, the all-star third baseman has been a focal point of this defensive infield for the Copperheads. So that brings up Hayden Christensen, a man who Copperheads definitely remember from the last game when the game was 4-2. He hit a 2-run homer over right center field, and it was a big one, which sent it to extra innings. And it was very funny seeing Hayden Christensen come out onto the field as they had the Darth Vader theme. As for those who don't know, Hayden Christensen is the name of the actor playing Anakin Skywalker, a.k.a. Darth Vader. Takes the first 2 pitches, though, from Bohr for 2 strikes, so the count is quickly 0-2 to number 24, Hayden Christensen.
Bohr already on the day, 9 strikes to just 2 balls. So again, really pounding that zone. That'll be ball number 3 on the day, ball number 1 in the count. But yeah, really in command of his stuff. Bohr, pitcher of the game for the GLSCL South, the All-Star game.
1-2 misses just low, and the count is 2-2 to Christensen, who went 1 for 1 with a double. First, the Hamilton Joes came in and pinched hit and got a big hit for his squad. It was a very close game. Every hit mattered. The 2-2 swung on and missed for strike number 3. Strikeout number 2 for Luke Bohr.
Really in command of his fastball right now. Cincinnati Steam just can't seem to find anything. Still looking for their first hit of the game.
That'll bring on Kyle Westfall from Sarasota, Florida, who's one of the newer additions here for the Cincinnati Steam. Added on June 30th. See the first pitch to Westfall. Right over the plate once again attacking that zone, as you said, Tim. We're seeing Luke Bohr do it at a master level. The 0-1 check swing. Did he go? He did not. So Westfall now will face a 1-1 count. Went 0 for 3 against the Richmond Jazz in his last appearance. This is his first time playing against the Southern Ohio Copperheads. As we'll see the 1-1. That time, no doubt about it, that's a strike right over the plate. 1-2 count, 2 outs. Bohr with a chance to get out of the inning here in the top of the second, as it is still scoreless here from Bob Wren Stadium. Bohr sets up, winds up, delivers the pitch, swung on and missed, drop strike 3. Silva picks up the ball, delivers it to Bam Thomas to complete the strikeout. Oh my, isn't Luke Bohr on fire?
Oh my goodness, able to get the pitch or get the side retired. I can't think that he threw any more than 10 or 11 pitches in that one, Sedric. Steam struggling to find their rhythm right now, and Bohr 3 strikeouts on the day.
That makes 7 straight scoreless innings thrown by the pitchers of the Southern Ohio Copperheads, and the Copperheads offense will try to capitalize off of that. It'll be the 7, 8, and 9 batters for the Copperheads when we come back. Sebastian Silva, Ian Crump, and Maverick Stallings. Scoreless game going into the bottom of the second. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the second inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. The bottom of the second is presented to you by Steak and Shake. One of my favorite places to go, especially after a broadcast, is being able to go up to Steak and Shake on State Street. Copperheads and Steam are scoreless, as Sebastian Silva will come up to the plate, batting .083 on the year from VMI. Fouls off the first pitch. The count is 0-1, as both Foley and Bohr have controlled the game. Bohr with 3 strikeouts, Foley with 2. And he'll try to add to his total here against Sebastian Silva, who is a contender for toughest guy on the team after taking so many hits by pitches, bats, and overall just getting dinged up a lot. Still, of course, coming out and playing as many games as he can as he takes the second pitch for a strike. So now the count is 0-2 to Sebastian Silva.
And it's great for head coach TJ Lanning, too, to be able to have multiple guys at that catcher position to cycle them in and out and give each guy not only a chance to play, but a chance to get some rest as well.
So if no score, nobody on, no outs, see the 1-2 pitch from Foley to Silva. This time it's inside of the plate. So it's 2-2 now, count evened up. Good work from Silva, just being able to work the count back into one that's a little bit more favorable. As it'll be Ian Crump on the on-deck circle for the Copperheads. 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed for strike number 3, drop strike 3. Houin delivers it to Freeze to complete the strikeout.
Both pitchers pitching really well in this one. I believe that's the third strikeout for Foley. Bohr has 3 along with that, so 6 strikeouts already through 2 1/3.
Certainly been impressive as now Ian Crump goes up into the batter's box. Batting .079 on the year, looking for RBI number 1. And takes the first pitch high and outside, hitting that edge of the strike zone. A little controversial here as you'll get some groans here from the crowd. The count is 0-1 as Foley sets up, delivers the 0-1 pitch, swung on and missed for strike number 2. So quick 0-2 to Ian Crump, the DH for today, representing South Dakota. He attends Miles Community College.
Ian Crump also trying to break out of that hitless streak. We've seen him getting a lot of work, especially in these last couple of days, whether that's the DH position or out there in the outfield, and really getting a chance to work on his skills here recently.
It is. That's what the summer's all about, making sure everybody can improve, as we'll see the 1-2 way outside. Wild pitch there. So now the count is evened up at 2-2. First time we've seen Foley off the mark. It seems like he's been on the money all day long. That time might have slipped out of his hand a little bit. We'll see the 2-2 pitch from Foley. And they got him looking. That one went over the plate. No swing there from Crump. And that's 2 straight strikeouts now for Foley. And Foley counters Bohr here with 4 strikeouts to now Bohr's 3.
Have ourselves another pitching match in the works here today, Sedric. We saw a pretty good one yesterday. Fortunately, didn't go the way of the Copperheads, but looks like we'll have another one here, and that's why it'll be so critical to get these runs in situations where they can.
First pitch to Maverick Stallings is high, as after having a day off, Maverick Stallings has returned to the shortstop position, and last time we saw him was against the Settlers on the road in the doubleheader where he went 0 for 3, and now he'll take a pitch, the 1-0, to be exact, for a strike. As the Copperheads, they've got to do some swinging a little bit. I know that it's good to show some discipline, but getting called looking does not help, as we'll see the 1-1, and that time it hits the inside of the plate, just nicking the zone for strike number 2. So Foley trying to make it 3 straight strikeouts to retire the bottom of the order for the Copperheads. The 1-2. That time it's up high on an attempted breaking ball, and the count is evened up for the 3rd time straight. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on here in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
Houin had to work for that one a little bit.
2-2 is outside, so the count is full. Stallings has forced a couple of walks, 7 of them to be exact. And he'll try to do it again here against Foley. The 3-2 swung on and missed. 3 straight strikeouts for Braxton Foley. That's his 5th one of the day, and he'll try to go after Colin Ryan's record of 11 this season. So we're headed to the top of the 3rd inning as the Copperheads grab their gloves and get back out to the field. As when we come back, it'll be Drew Klassener, Jeffrey Butler, Gabriel Lopez batting for the Cincinnati Steam. The game is scoreless. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the third inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. Top of the third is presented to you by OUCU Financial, where you belong. Copperheads have had 7 straight scoreless innings, and they're going to try to make it 8 here against Drew Klassener, Jeffrey Butler, and Gabriel Lopez, the 7, 8, 9 batters that are due up here in the top of the third. In a scoreless game, Cincinnati Steam, they've been able to score a lot in this series. They put up 15 in the first game, 11 in the second, 6 in the third, 4 in the fourth. So progressively with each game, they've scored less and less, but that 15 spot in game number 1 was still notable as Borer will deliver the first pitch to Klassener. It's going to be hit right down Broadway out in the center field. Kyle Radliff picks it up rolling off of the ground, but it is a single for Klassener on the first pitch.
First pitch swinging, found that gap in the infield, and exactly where you want to hit it. Hard hit ground ball right at second base, and with nobody on base, that's a perfect spot as the second baseman and the shortstop are both playing a little bit towards first and third respectively.
So hit number 1 for the Cincinnati Steam, and now Jeffrey Butler will come up to the plate with 1 runner on, shows bunt, and misses on it for strike number 1. So quick 0-1 to Jeffrey Butler. His last appearance this season was against the Southern Ohio Copperheads. He's only played in 9 games, but has played in every single matchup against the Southern Ohio Copperheads, funny enough. So with 1 runner on in Klassener at first, we'll see the 0-1 pitch here from Luke Borer to Jeffrey Butler. Time it is inside and low for ball number 1. So the count is evened up at 1 in this scoreless affair here in the top of the third inning as the pitching in the league has increased steadily by the second, it seems. You see the 1-1. Ooh, fouled off hard right into the pole of the net. Count is 1-2 after that foul ball from Butler. As Tim, it's just been kind of the trend of the season that at the beginning it seemed like the bats were hot, and then now later in the season you see a lot more low-scoring games.
Yeah, ever since the Grand Lake Mariners game, I don't believe the Copperheads have scored more than 5 runs in a game after putting up 15 in that one. So things come in waves for this team, and they'll have to kind of put it all together if they want to get a couple more wins to end out the year.
So the 1-2 pitch misses inside and low. So the count is 2-2 to Jeffrey Butler. With 1 runner on, nobody out, he fouls it backwards and back towards the net. We remain at 2-2. As earlier in this inning, we saw Drew Klassener take the first pitch and hit it out into center field for a single. That's how he's on base. Copperheads have 2 hits, Steam with 1 hit. As Borer sets on the mound, delivers his pitch. That time, he got him looking. On a curveball action, a little bit of a break to it, and it braked perfectly right into the zone.
Nice pitch by Luke Borer on that one. Found the zone. Strikeout number 4 on the day. So these guys are really both going back and forth. It seems like every time Foley finishes the inning with a pair of strikeouts or what have you, Borer comes back out and says, hey, man, I can do this too.
Yep, a little bit of a tisket for tasket action as Gabriel Lopez is now up. That's a name that the Copperheads have not seen in a while as he fouls it off high back towards the Hocking River. As Gabriel Lopez has not played in this series since that first game back way on the June 10th. And he had a great game, went 2 for 5, 2 runs, a double, and an RBI in that 15-point performance. He's going to hit it out to Maverick Stallings. 6, 4, and 3. It's a double play. The Copperheads shut the door in the inning off of some great fielding.
Great job by Maverick Stalling, Carson Shepard, and Bam Thomas. We've seen more and more double plays, Cedric, I feel like, in these last couple of games than we did the entire season. Obviously, the series with the Licking County Settlers the last couple of days. Seems like we had one almost every inning, but now we got another one here, and good to see that the defense is finally coming together. These guys all on the same page, and it was nice and smooth.
Yeah, and it's almost like plug and play. You're getting some new guys at different positions at almost every game. We saw Carson Shepard play a little bit of shortstop. We saw Jordan Long come in, play second base. Bam Thomas coming in, playing first base. And you see Mitch Class as well play that. You're getting different guys at different positions, and there's still no drop-off as well. So very impressive for the Copperheads. So the game is still scoreless as we go into the bottom of the third inning. It'll be the top of the order for the Southern Ohio Copperheads when we come back. The bottom of the third inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. The bottom of the third is presented to you by the Eclipse Company Store. So Carson Shepard will lead off here in the top of the third or bottom of the third inning, like he did in the bottom of the first, and he'll take the first pitch right over the plate for strike number one. As Copperheads feel they're going to have to swing a lot more, as it seems like every single pitch from Foley has been right on the money.
Yes, it has, and 4 strikeouts on the game as well, so able to close the deal as well.
Chopper out to Lopez. Lopez has some issues fielding the ball, and that's an error. And Carson Shepard's the benefactor getting to first base.
That's why we run out our ground balls, Sedric. You never know what can happen when you're trying to get the ball into the glove. Copperhead or Steam make a mistake. Copperhead's able to capitalize on it.
It was the Copperheads yesterday that committed 2 errors while the Settlers committed 0. So the Copperheads can win the battle in errors and have less errors than the Cincinnati Steam. I think that will bode well for how this game will go, as the Copperheads are trying to win 2 straight against the Cincinnati Steam after getting embarrassed the first 3 matchups. It was a great bounce back as Hodges now comes up to the plate. Carson Shepard goes on the first pitch. The throw is way too high, and it goes over the head of Corey Miley, and Copperheads once again benefit.
Carson Shepard doing what he does best, Sedric, being a menace on the base pads there. He's able to get up to second base, and
so Carson Shepard helping to build a little bit of energy here at Bob Wren Stadium as the momentum continues to build. Clayton Hodges now works with a 1-0 count as the pitch was thrown in for a ball. Carson Shepard currently on second after the stolen base. And now it looks like Foley is going to try to pay more attention there to Carson Shepard. He knows what he can do on the base paths now. He's going to be more aware as the count is 1-0 in a scoreless game here in the bottom of the third inning. Carson Shepard, who reached on an error, now stole a base as Clayton Hodges takes the 1-0 pitch off the mark inside and high for ball number 2. As there's already been some pretty shocking results today in the GLSEL. One of them is the Michigan Monarchs. They finally fall as they were on a roll, winning 9 out of their last 10. They fall to the Richmond Jazz in cross-divisional play as we see the 2-0 pitch bunted right over towards first base. Clayton Hodges running with all he got, and he is out. But Carson Shepard advances as a result of the play. It was a good work from Max Freeze coming up and being aware of the bunt, and he got it out to Braxton Foley to finish the out.
Productive at-bat for Clayton Hodges. May have gotten out, but got Carson Shepard all the way from first base now over to third, and pretty much anything hit by Kyle Ratliff is going to score him and break this scoreless streak that the Copperheads have had.
Copperheads only have 1 run in their last 9 innings, or actually make that 12 innings, as they'll look to try to put something on the board here. You'll see the first pitch to Kyle Ratliff over the plate to the right side of it for a strike. Carson Shepard on third base after advancing due to Hodges as well as a stolen base and an error, and now we'll see a chopper that does stay fair. No, they call it foul as it just got out of there right before Drew Klasner can get it in his glove. So 0-2 to Kyle Ratliff, which the last time he was up, he picked up the single.
Got that roll started for the Copperheads, ended up being stranded on second in that first inning, but showed a little bit of life, got things started. And we'll see if he's able to deliver another RBI on the year. Has quite a few this season.
Yep, 25 to be exact. 0-2 pitch from Foley, popped high up into the air, and looks like it will go into the crowd and falls down harmlessly. So we remain at 0-2 with Carson Shepard, the leadoff runner, at third base, and Trey Rucker in the on-deck circle. We'll definitely be keeping our eyes as playoff time is coming, and we also have a lot of cross-divisional matchups coming up here in the GLSEL. So keep our eyes on some different scores, like the Sandusky Ice Haulers up 3-1 over the Licking County Settlers. We see the 0-2 outside. Good eye from Kyle Ratliff, so the count is 1-2. Also, Grand Lake Mariners and Lima Locos are playing against each other. Those two teams are very close by geography, but divisionally are separated. The 1-2 to Kyle Ratliff, swung on and missed for strike number 3. Foley picking up a big strikeout for his team, strikeout number 6.
Tough break for the Copperheads. Kyle Ratliff, a guy that knows how to hit balls in certain places. And
here comes Trey Rucker. It's the last time he was up, he struck out swinging as Foley delivers a pitch, and it's going to be fouled off into the grass berm near OSF, Ohio Softball Field, for those who don't know. And the count is 0-1 with one runner on. Copperheads had bases loaded back in the first inning, but weren't able to capitalize, a situation that has happened multiple times. Now the Copperheads do have a runner on third. Will they be able to capitalize? We see the 0-1 taken over the plate and low, but no call there. It's going to be a ball. So it's 1-1 with 2 outs. Carson Shepard on in a scoreless game, which the Copperheads are trying to change that, clad in their orange jerseys. See the 1-1 outside. Good catch there from Luke Huen, rolling to the right to make that catch. It can be a little difficult seeing the different colors as the combinations are just one color off on the wheel with orange, red, white and gray, and blue and green. So lots of shades really close to each other. But the Copperheads are batting right now, and it's Trey Rucker. As we'll see the 2-1. Swung on and missed. Oh, chopped backwards. So we got strike number 2. So it's 2-2. Looked like it did foul tip off a little bit. So with one runner on, Trey Rucker down to his last strike. 2-2 to Rucker. It's going to be chopped over to third base. Drew Klassener fields it on one hop, delivers it out to Max Freese. He was in the air. He's safe, and that's going to count as an RBI off of the error. Trey Rucker gets the first, and the Copperheads have the lead for the first time in 3 games.
Everyone in this stadium can exhale now. Trey Rucker doing a really good job hustling that one out. And just a tough throw from Klassener, who was coming across the diamond, had to throw it across his body.
Now batting for the Copperheads, number 23, Mason Adoni.
So it will go down as an error, so Trey Rucker won't pick up the RBI for it, but still instrumental in being able to help that out, as it'll go down as either E6 or E3. We'll find out. But now Nadolny will try to build off of that momentum. Trey Rucker has to slide back as Huen showed like he was going to throw. But now the count is 0-1 to Nadolny, as this game is now a 1-0 lead for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. They've struggled against the Settlers all season long and had situations where they weren't able to take a lead at any point in their last 3 games against the Settlers. But happy to be back in the lead now, up 1-0 in the bottom of the 3rd inning. As we'll see the 0-1 pitch on its way from Foley as Trey Rucker will go. He's got a good lead off. He's going to run into it, and the ball is dropped out there as it almost, the glove hit the face of Trey Rucker a little bit. He is safe, but oh, that doesn't feel good.
No, it does not. Those gloves, especially when your hands are coming in fast, it's almost like getting hit with it. Other note, they did score that an error on Klassener. E6 on the single from Trey Rucker.
That was good work, being able to show off the speed there to make it and beat the throw. So now the count is 1-1 to Nadolny. Copperheads nursing a 1-0 lead. Trey Rucker on second. He misses there, trying to reach out to hit that one. And now the count is 1-2 with 2 outs. Rucker on second. Nadolny here in the batter's box. Foley looking for strikeout number 7, trying to match Colin Ryan's 11 or beat it. And a little timeout call there, as you can see all the mental battles that were going. If you're just watching the play, you saw the pitcher, Braxton Foley, look back over there at Trey Rucker. He has to worry about him, but he also has to worry about getting strike number 3 against Nadolny. The 1-2, the runner goes, foul tipped off. So Trey Rucker will have to make his way back. See, gets to leg it out for a little sprint there just to stay loose on the base pass. And we'll keep the drama high here as the count is 1-2, 2 outs on a beautiful, beautiful evening here at Bob Wren Stadium, getting to use the visitors broadcast booth, a little bit different than our normal home broadcast booth, a little bit closer to the wonderful new cameras. As we'll see the 1-2, actually, Foley will step off of the plate, recollect himself. And just when I thought the 1-2 pitch was coming, it looks like we're getting a nice delay in the game, as it looks like the fans are starting to get a little restless here, as it seems like Foley is getting a little bit of sensory overload on the plate, so to speak. Now the 1-2 pitch, it's on its way, and it misses outside for ball number 2. So the count is evened up after about a minute and a half of just dilly-dallying.
A little bit of back and forth, a mental battle between these two pitchers. Foley not wanting to give up another run, and Nadolny trying to do a little bit more damage with the speedy Trey Rucker.
Runner goes, it's outside, no throw. Rucker is safe. That's another stolen base, as the Copperheads have been doing an excellent job putting themselves in position to score. That is the 4th stolen base of the day. Actually, check that, the 5th stolen base of the day as a team.
Staying aggressive out there. This team wants to be able to score runs and are continuing to put themselves in position to do so.
Payoff pitch, swung on and missed from Nadolny. So Trey Rucker is stranded on third base, but not before the Copperheads can take the lead here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. They're up 1-0 as we head to the 4th. It'll be the top of the order for the Cincinnati Steam. Tommy Thaman, Corey Miley, and Max Freeze. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the 4th inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. The top of the 4th is presented to you by Larry's Doghouse. Copperhead Crunch Dog, one of my favorite hot dogs I've ever had. You can have it here at Bob Wren Stadium, as we have a new pitcher on the mound, as Luke Bohr ended up going 3 innings. And here in the 4th, we'll see number 19, Adam Beery, as Beery making his 11th appearance on the season. And as I said earlier in the game, usually is a tandem with Luke Bohr. They usually tend to pitch together in games. And we'll see him deliver his first pitch to Thaman, who swings and misses there for strike number 1. Beery has a 3.17 ERA, struck out 21, walked 9. And in his last appearance, it was against the Hamilton Joes, pitched 1 2/3 innings, allowed no runs in that game, as he'll deliver strike number 2. He's arguably been one of the best pitchers for the Copperheads.
Yes, he has, and you mentioned that Cincinnati Steam game, picked up the win for that game as well, and just really well in that one.
The 0-2 swung on and missed for strike number 3. That's K number 1 for Adam Beery.
Still locked in a pitcher's duel. Got a new pitcher. And still locked in a pitching duel in this one. Both guys, all three guys now, playing really well.
So for the total for Luke Bohr, 3 innings pitched, only 1 hit allowed, 4 strikeouts, no runs, of course no earned runs as well, as it was an exceptional start. And now we'll see the first pitch thrown for a strike. So it's been all strikes right now for Adam Beery to Corey Miley. The 0-1 this time is outside for ball number 1. The count is evened up to Miley, who the last time he was up had a fly out to Trey Rucker for out number 2 of inning number 1. 1-1 pitch skips across the ground for ball number 2. As Corey Miley, the last time he played the Copperheads was back on the 4th of July, and he went 1 for 4 against the Copperheads. And very fun game at the Reds Urban Youth Academy, as we'll see the 2-1. This time it does miss low and inside for ball number 3. But it was great being able to be at that park. We got underneath a tent, and whenever we get a chance to broadcast where you get a little bit of a live audience there with fans kind of hanging out in the tent, it was great to see the 3-1 outside, and that is a walk for Beery. So 1 strikeout, 1 walk, and that'll bring on Max Freeze, who has one of the highest batting averages in the league. He's batting .349, Tim, this year.
Freeze, one of the hottest bats in the entire GLSCL all year. A little bit surprised we didn't see him at the All-Star game on Tuesday, but so much loaded talent all over the league.
Yeah, Cincinnati's team also had Brennan Rowe, who would have been an All-Star, but he is injured currently, so he's on the inactive list. As we'll see the first pitch to Freeze off the mark for a ball. So the count is 1-0 to Freeze, who hit right over to Nadolny at third base, who was able to throw it in time to Bam Thomas for out number 3 to retire the side in the first inning. The 1-0 up high this time for ball number 2. So quick 2-0 to Max Freeze out of Earlham College. And the last time that he faced the Southern Ohio Copperheads, went 2 for 4 and scored a run on that 4th of July affair, which I think another aspect that was cool was just being able to call a game on the 4th. It was just very nice being able to take part in such an American tradition, America's pastime, as we call it, hitting baseball on the day that's all about America.
Doesn't get much more American than that, Cedric, watching afternoon baseball on July 4th. Only thing we were missing, that, a couple dogs, and potentially a couple adult beverages.
The 2-0 is swung on and missed. So the count is 2-1, which kind of funny. We had those two numbers. I am age 20, which represents a 2-0 count, and looking forward to being 21 in October, which represents a 2-1 count. The 2-1 going to be chopped into right field and will be down on a base hit. What a bloop. Perfect job as both runners are going to continue to go. Actually, we see Freeze slow down, go back to first, but Corey Miley makes his way to third. That was just a beautiful bloop.
It was. Carson Shepard came all the way over from second base, potentially trying to make a play on that. Trey Rucker got to it first, and then Beery just doesn't look quite as comfortable as he has been in other matchups in this one. Had a walk and then the bloop single there, so we'll see how he's able to respond here.
Yeah, I wonder if he was ready to come in at this time. Did he know he would be coming in this early in the game? I mean, last time we saw him, he was able to come in the 6th inning after 5 innings pitched from Bohr, but this time it almost seems like a little bit quicker. Maybe he didn't have much time in the bullpen as well, maybe before the game, but we'll see if he can settle into this game as we go. Still no runs given up, but 2 runners threatening with 1 out. Runners on the corners. It is Miley at third, Freeze at first, Huen up to bat now. And the first pitch is off the mark once again for ball number 1. So the count is 1-0 as Luke Huen, the last time he was up, grounded out to third base for out number 1 of the top of the 2nd inning. Right now we're in the top of the 4th inning. Copperheads up 1-0. Cincinnati Steam threatening, as we'll see the 1-0 pitch go inside. Almost looked like it graced off of Huen. But nevertheless, the count is 2-0. Corey Miley was able to reach first off of a walk and got to third off of a bloop single for Max Freeze out to right field, hitting in that perfect spot between Bam Thomas and Trey Rucker on the right side of the defensive alignment for the Copperheads. The 2-0 from Beery. It's going to be a high fly ball out into center field. Kyle Ratliff makes the catch. There's the tag. There's the throw. It's going to be out to Silva, and it is behind him. Corey Miley scores, and that's going to go down as a sacrifice fly for Luke Hu, and he picks up the RBI.
Really well hit ball, really well hit, or really good throw. Oh my goodness. Really good throw from Kyle Ratliff too, and Silva able to corral it. Just not quite in time, got a nice jump on it as he came in to score.
So if you heard the song, the Darth Vader's Imperial March, you have Hayden Christensen coming up to bat. He struck out swinging the last time he was up, and he'll work with one runner on in this game that's tied up at 1 as Adam Beery delivers the first pitch for a strike. So the count is 0-1 to Christensen. He went 1 for 5 with 2 RBIs in the game-tying home run. That one is bounced right to Beery. He delivers it out with no problem with ease to retire the side to Bam Thomas. Copperheads yield 1, but the game is tied. Now going into the bottom of the 4th, and they'll have a chance to go to bat to get the lead back. It'll be Bam Thomas, Sebastian Silva, and Ian Crump, the 6, 7, 8 in the lineup. When we come back, you're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the 4th inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. The bottom of the 4th is presented to you by Ohio Health. Copperheads and Cincinnati Steam are playing quite a quick game thus far as we're almost halfway through, and it's been just about an hour as the evening is so beautiful. You see the sky is nice and blue, not a cloud today. As it'll be Bam Thomas starting off here for the Copperheads. He had a fly out to center field the last time he was up. He'll take the first pitch upstairs from Foley for ball number 1. So it's Bam Thomas, Sebastian Silva, Ian Crump. Those are the guys due up this inning for the Copperheads, trying to take the lead back. See the 1-0 pitch. No swing there as it goes over the left side of the plate outside for strike number 1. So even up at 1-1 to Bam Thomas, who has a home run on the year, is back against the Richmond Jazz, looking to follow that up and get another one. We'll see the 1-1 chopped, and Chase Harris, pitcher for Ohio Bobcats, not able to field it off of the hop there. Count is 1-2. In the bottom portion of the GLSCL South, Copperheads sitting at 11-19 in 7th place. Chaz 13-17 coming into today, as we see a pass ball for ball number 2. Mariners 14-16 and Scouts 15-15 coming into the night. A lot of those teams just hovering around 500 over their last 10, as there's been some cannibalization at the bottom. Scouts are at 1 point in first, as the 2-2 is missing outside and low for ball number 3. So the count is full.
Scouts got hot at a really good time for them, I think. Put a lot of really good games together, and then As what happens so much in baseball, things stop clicking a little bit, and unfortunately the Jazz have kind of slipped in the standings, and we've seen the exact opposite thing, not only from the Hamilton Joes, who have fallen out of the playoff race, but now the Cincinnati Steam, who we're seeing here today, have jumped back into the playoff race. So
it is. It kind of goes like a roller coaster with hills and waves where teams are high, they're doing well, they have their win streaks, and then you see the lows of different teams. You even see it in the major leagues right now where you have multiple teams that are on 10-game winning streaks right now in the AL with the Seattle Mariners and the Baltimore Orioles, as the first pitch to Silva is fouled off for a strike. So the count is 0-1 with one runner on as Bam Thomas ended up walking. So Foley yields the walk there. That is the second one of the day. So Sebastian Silva will try to get on as he struck out swinging back in the second inning. And we'll see a pickoff attempt, not in time. So that second inning was one the Copperheads wanted to forget, as they had 3 straight strikeouts as Foley absolutely dominated. And he's trying to gun for that strikeout record, or at least the strikeout high for this season. It was made by Colin Ryan, who had 11. And now we see the foul ball that had just enough touch. If that would have been a little bit more right, it would have been back towards us, and we would have had ourselves a souvenir.
Still trying to get one of those baseballs, Sedric. And not willing to guarantee anything, but I think I'm going to get one this year.
I believe so, too. All foul balls can be kept thanks to Goldsberry and their company. So really appreciative of them, as we'll see the 0-2 on its way from Foley, fouled back again. So 3 pitches, 3 foul balls from Sebastian Silva. And with Bam Thomas on, with nobody out here in the bottom of the 4th inning, Copperheads and Steam are deadlocked at 1 run apiece. As for the Copperheads, they'll see the Settlers again coming up on Saturday. And then we'll be facing the Ice Haulers for a pair of games up in Sandusky on Sunday and Monday. We'll see the 0-2 swung on and missed for strike number 3. So that's strikeout number 8 on the day, as Foley just needs 3 more to tie, 4 more to have the record, or at least the season high. And we'll have to start talking about the record for the GLSEL in strikeouts.
Yeah, Braxton Foley, I mean, putting on an absolute clinic. I feel like it's either a strikeout or a flyout. Copperheads only have 2 hits in this game, able to score 1 of those hits. But aside from that, Foley pitching really well.
Pitch to Ian Crump is outside for ball number 1, so it's 1-0 to Crump. Crump struck out looking back in the 2nd inning last time he was up. And this is his 5th start in the month of July, so seen a little bit more time in the latter month of the year, as we'll see the 1-0 missed for strike number 1. So it's 1-1 for Crump with Bam Thomas on first base. 1 down in the inning on July 14th, 2022, Thursday, where the Copperheads are trying to make it 5 straight Thursdays where they've been able to get a win here this season.
I don't know how we were able to figure that out, but I mentioned something about it's a great day. Thursdays are a great day while we were doing our prep up here in the booth, and Sedric was like, well, wait a minute. We've won our last 4 Thursdays.
Yep, just went back on the schedule here on our board, and just every week back, you're like, oh my, well, we've won all of these different games. So Thursday's been a good day of the week for the Copperheads. We'll see the 1-2 and goes high over the plate for ball number 2. So the count is 2-2 with 1 out. The good thing for the Copperheads, it seems like they're forcing a pretty high pitch count out of Foley as we work our way here into the bottom of the 4th inning. Foley will set up on the mound, deliver his pitch, swung on and missed by Ian Crump for strike number 3. So 2 straight strikeouts. That's strikeout number 9. And we're just in the 4th inning.
To your point, Cedric, 75 pitches for Braxton Foley. 75 pitches that gave him 9 strikeouts, 2 walks, 1 run not earned, as it was earned on an error.
So Maverick Stallings is up and swings and misses at the first pitch for strike number 1. Copperheads run as Tim said, was off of an error. Carson Shepard reached on an error at shortstop. Or correction, error at third base. The 0-1 is taken for strike number 2. So 0-2 with Bam Thomas on. He was walked to start this inning. And now Copperheads facing the prospect of 3 straight strikeouts. Foley is able to give it out to Stallings, who fouls it off back towards the river. So the count is 0-2. And so far, Foley has thrown 5 strikeouts in even innings in this game. And has struck out the whole 7, 8, and trying to make it the 9 of the lineup as the pitch is up high over the zone. Good eye from Maverick Stallings. Count is 1-2, 2 outs, and an evened up score in this game, 1-1. Copperheads and Steam reflect each other a lot. The only difference really has been the errors. The 1-2, no swing there, and it does miss high and inside, so the count is evened up 2, 2, and 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 hits apiece, 2 errors for the Steam, and a 1-1 game. 2-2. Drop strike 3, or drop foul tip, rather. So we'll do it again at 2-2. The crowd has grown just a little bit here at Bob Arend Stadium. Definitely in about the 400s, 300s, I'd predict, just from the eye test. And in the bottom of the 4th inning, here's the pitch from Foley. It's up high. So the count is 3-2. Yet again, another full count.
Maverick Stallings doing a really good job being patient, sitting back in the box and waiting to get things done. Maverick Stallings reached on a, or actually rather had a strikeout his first appearance.
Payoff pitch. Bam Thomas kind of jogs towards second base, and he fouls off the 3-2. So we'll do it again, and we'll see another payoff pitch. As see Foley looking for strikeout number 10. If he gets the 10, there's a high chance he can be able to get the league high this season, which will almost guarantee a spot as the pitcher of the week. Bam Thomas jogs over to second, swing and miss for strikeout number 10 as Foley has been putting on a clinic here at Bob Arend Stadium. 10 strikeouts is just disgusting.
What a recovery from Braxton Foley. Got Bam Thomas on the walk to start the inning, and then 3 straight strikeouts. Gives him number 10 on the day, and his pitch count is up in the 80s, but man, if I'm the head coach for the Cincinnati Steam, I'm going to keep him in the game. Just let him try and get a chance at it. And I think Coach Dickey would be willing to work with that. We'll see, though.
He certainly will. I ended up getting to talk to him for a little bit. We were doing some interviews with different players. One of them was Cincinnati Steam relief pitcher Alex Shea, which we got to write a great little story about him that'll get published on the league website soon. But Coach Dickey was able to help me connect to Shea, and I'm really appreciative of him for that. As Coach Dickey's a guy who played for the Cincinnati Steam back in his childhood days. Grew up a fan of the Steam, then got to play for the Steam, and now gets to coach for the Steam. So it's all come full circle for him in the cycle. But when we come back, we'll see Adam Beery on the mound here in the top of the 5th inning, as this game is deadlocked at 1. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. The top of the 5th inning here at Bob Arend Stadium, and the top of the 5th is presented to you by Jackie O's. As we'll get right into the action, we see a nice breaking ball thrown from Beery for strike number 1. to Kyle Westfall, who had a strikeout the last time he was up, and now we'll take the 0-1 pitch. And that goes over the edge of the plate for strike number 2. Because Adam Beery already coming out a lot sharper than he did the last inning. He did have a strikeout, but also a couple of uncharacteristic walks. As we'll see the 0-2 outside this time for ball number 1. So 1-2 to Kyle Westfall, one of the newest members of the Cincinnati Steam. As by this point in the year, you're going to get a lot of teams where players are going to start going back to their schools early. As we'll see the 1-2 is outside at about face level there from Westfall, and the count is now evened up at 2-2. We saw Diego Ortiz for the Southern Ohio Copperheads make his way back to UAB, and a couple other players ended up going back for the year, including Marlowe. He is not active anymore with the Cincinnati Steam, and it's good news for the Copperheads, given that Marlowe has done very well in his 2 games against the Copperheads.
Yeah, Marlowe played really well in both of those games, so maybe a sigh of relief.
3-2 chopped foul, and the play is not able to be made by Coach Dickey. So coaches right now are 2 for 2 on errors. So get a few chats over there from the Copperheads players in the dugout. And the count is full, and we'll see a payoff pitch coming to Westfall. Beery delivers. He threw some speed, but it missed outside for ball number 4. So that's a walk for Westfall as he reaches first, and walk number 2 for Beery. So up comes the third baseman, Drew Klassener. He is the hot dog hitter, as you hear that music, the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse hot dog song, if I remember right, is he's coming up to bat. Last time he was up, he hit the first hit of the day, the only hit that happened against Luke Borer. It was a single to center field, but then was retired on a double play. And the first pitch is high and inside, and now we'll get some groans from the crowd as the people here in the stands thought that was a strike, but I think even if the pitch was a wild pitch, they think it was a strike. It's when it comes to the hot dog hitter and the beer batter.
Yeah, don't mess with these Copperheads fans and their in-game promotions. The hot dog hitter and the beer batter, the 2 most important at-bats of the day. Yesterday we got to see 2 beer batters.
Have you had to do multiple when you had over 2,000 people there in attendance? Auburn Stadiums, its listed attendance is 2,250 for max capacity. And we really tested that theory as there was only standing room at multiple points during the game.
Official attendance, 2,150 people last night, Cedric. What an environment that was.
See a pickoff attempt there, not in time, as I agree, Tim. It's just hats off to the Copperheads fans for just coming out in droves. We always appreciate you guys not only coming out in droves out to Auburn Stadium to support the team when they're at home, but also tuning into the broadcast to check out the Copperheads on the road as well. We've appreciated you guys all season long as we are in Game 31 out of Game 39, and we want to really cherish what we have left. As the 1-1, Westfall tries to steal second, but it won't matter as the ball was fouled off. So Westfall's going to have to go back, and Beery has a chance to deliver the biggest strikeout of the game to these fans.
Crowd is on their feet for this one, ready to get things going.
Hear the claps, hear the stomps. Will it be strike number 3 coming from Beery? We'll find out as Klassener faces a 1-2 in this tie ball game, 1-1 here in the top of the 5th inning. Adam Beery sets. He deals. Swung on and missed for strike number 3. It's low-priced hot dogs here at Auburn Stadium the rest of the 5th inning. So strikeout number 2 for Beery is potentially, we get really excited for that one, even though in the big picture of the game, it might not be the highest energy moment. It definitely is one of the higher energy moments for us here.
As we now see quite a few Copperheads fans heading over to, they're coming over in droves, going down there to the concession stands. Hope Larry's has the dogs ready.
I have no doubt they have the dogs ready. You know, Larry's Doghouse, they always do it best. As now we'll see Jeffrey Butler come up to bat, the DH, who struck out looking the last time he was up, and he takes strike number 1 from Beery. Westfall still on first after the walk, but Klassener went down on strikes for out number 1. As second strikeout for Beery. He's trying to find the strike zone a little bit as we'll see the 0-1 out to Butler. Oh, there's some heat. That's strike number 2. When Beery gets in his zone, he becomes a hard pitcher to get anything against. As he's shown time and time again, he can do it for many innings. He did 5 innings against the Steam to close them out. Picking up the save as Westfall's going to go. The throw is off the mark, though, from Silva, and he will be safe at second. And the pitch missed, so the count is 2-2 to Butler. Definitely like the new camera angle there, Tim. Being able to get the camera of the fans going out to the food, man, that's just wonderful.
It was a bit of an audible there. I'm producing today as well.
1-2, chop to Carson Shepard, who's able to throw it out to Bam Thomas for out number 2. So a little bit of a fielder's choice decision. There was no force out at third, so it won't go down as an official fielder's choice, but Carson Shepard thought about trying to pick off the leadoff runner, but decides to pick off Butler at first. So Butler goes down on the ground out, and that'll bring on Gabriel Lopez, who hit into a double play the last time he was up. And with Westfall on third, could be a dangerous situation here for the Copperheads. There's going to be a chopper out to Maverick Stallings, who's going to throw it out to Bam Thomas. No problem for out number 3. So the Copperheads yield no runs in the top of the 5th inning and are able to capitalize on the hot dog hitter, which makes all the fans excited, as well as us here in the booth. So when we come back in this 1-1 game, it'll be the top of the order for the Copperheads. Carson Shepard, Clayton Hodges, Kyle Ratliff. We'll see if the Copperheads can tack on another run to get the lead back. Listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the 5th inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. The bottom of the 5th is presented to you by Steak and Shake. Copperheads and Cincinnati Steam are deadlocked at 1, as we've seen mano-a-mano in this matchup, as the pitching performance of Braxton Foley has been nothing short of terrific, as well as Luke Bohr and Adam Beery's combined effort has also been pretty strong. They combined for 6 strikeouts. Braxton Foley going for the record. He needs only 2 more strikeouts for the league high this season. Carson Shepard, though, will try to beat him this time. Last time he was up, he reached first base off of an error at shortstop by Lopez. So he's 0 for 1. He had a strikeout back in the first. Now Foley will deliver the first pitch to Shepard and hit him. Carson Shepard, I think he'd be playing dodgeball.
Can't catch a break. Carson Shepard, 14th, 9th time. Thank you, Sedric. 9th time getting hit by a pitch this year, and he's got to be tired of it at this point. I mean, 31 games into the year, 9 hit by pitches. Even there's been a couple of games where it's been multiple times in the same game, so props to him for staying in there, being tough, and finding any way to get on base, I guess.
Yep, any way possible. Reached on an error, reached on a hit by pitch. Won't go down as a hit, but been on base multiple times. Also has a run for himself as well, as we'll see the first pitch to Clayton Hodges, skied out into right field into the bullpen of the Cincinnati Steam, and the count is 0-1 to Clayton Hodges, who has a single and also a ground out on the day. Did do a good job of advancing Carson Shepard, so it was a very productive out as he bunted on the first base side, and that forced Freeze to come up and get it and allowed Carson Shepard to make it to third. As we'll see the 0-1 way outside. It's a pass ball. That's going to give Carson Shepard second base as he jogs calmly over to the base. The count is 1-1. And Carson Shepard benefits once again. He's reached on errors, stolen bases, just finding any way he can.
One of the easier stolen bases Carson Shepard has had on the year. Usually he's involved in those close plays at the plate, but gets away with quite a few stolen bases as well. A real speedy, shifty guy out there on the base pads.
Also tough as nails as well, not to mention being able to take all those hit by pitches, as we'll see the 1-1. Outside, no swing there from Hodges. Good discipline. Count is 2-1. For Clayton Hodges, who broke out of his hitless streak earlier today. And he had the game-winning run against the Steam back on the 4th. Mitch Class was the man who drove it home, as we'll see the 2-1 outside and low. So the count is 3-1. Again, Copperheads will be eliminated from playoff contention if they do not win today. A lot of it is outside of their control, though. Even if they win the rest of their games, if the Settlers win 1 game and the Steam or Joes win 3 games, then it won't matter what the Copperheads do. So Copperheads can only help themselves here, do their best. But if they do get eliminated, they can at least try to be a thorn in other teams' side, especially the Settlers, as the Copperheads have quite a distaste for the Licking County Settlers this season. They've been beat 6 times by that team, and a lot of these last couple of times have been in very, very tough fashion on walk-offs and low-scoring pitchers duels. We see the 3-1 skied up foul backwards for strike number 2, rather. So now it's a full count to Clayton Hodges. Copperheads excited to see a different opponent as well today, as they played the Settlers the last 3 games. Now happy to play against somebody new in the Cincinnati Steam. As at the beginning of the year, I don't think I'd ever say that Copperheads will be thankful to play against the Steam again, but here we are.
No, that game, or that series against the Settlers was pretty tough for the Copperheads, and I think using today's game against the Steam is a nice reset. And then, of course, Sunday and Monday's games against the Sandusky Ice Haulers as well, kind of reset, get ready, and potentially take a couple from the Settlers next week.
Yeah, for the Ice Haulers, we'll have some different voices, as it'll be Ethan and I for the first game, and then Claire Geary and Ethan Sargent for the second game. We'll see the payoff pitch, skied off, fouled once again. Being able to really drive that pitch count up, make him tired, make Foley on the mound be ready to go back to the relief, as it looks like we do see some action over there in the bullpen for the Cincinnati Steam.
86 pitches on the day for Braxton Foley.
So with Shepard on second, we see a no pickoff attempt there, but a little bit of a stare down from Foley to keep Shepard honest. Kyle Radliff will start warming up in the on-deck circle, as we'll have the 3-2 pitch. Shepard goes. It's going to be a bloop out into right field, and it's down for a base hit. It's going to be an RBI. Carson Shepard coming across the plate. That's another run for the Copperheads. They have the lead back, as it is now 2-1 as Clayton Hodges delivers.
Clayton Hodges coming through in a huge spot for the Copperheads. Carson Shepard showing off his speed. Scored both runs today. And in a really good spot. It looks like that will be the end of the day for Braxton Foley.
Take Foley out before he could reach Colin Ryan's total of strikeouts. So Colin Ryan still gets to keep his league high, as he had 11 strikeouts against the Richmond Jazz. And I believe that game was on a Thursday, if my memory serves me correctly. Either a Wednesday or a Thursday. It was a Thursday. So one of those Thursdays that the Copperheads won. But still, nevertheless, what a heck of a day from Braxton Foley. 10 strikeouts, only 2 runs given up. Only one of them was earned.
3 hits, 2 walks as well. Faced 20 different batters. See who we get in here now.
So as we look to figure out who we will face, coming up next, we'll take a little break. Copperheads up 2-1, and it'll be Kyle Ratliff up to bat here in the bottom of the 5th inning when we come back. You listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. We're back in the bottom of the 5th inning. It'll be Chase Popplewell on the mound here for the Cincinnati Steam. He has a 2.89 ERA, has 1 save. He's pitched 9 1/3 innings on the season, 9 strikeouts, 5 walks. We'll try to follow up the great performance of Foley. Chase Popplewell's from Mason, Ohio, and is undecided on his school. And he'll go against Kyle Ratliff, one of the best batters on the Copperheads. We'll see if Kyle Ratliff can strike first blood against Popplewell. With 1 runner on and Clayton Hodges, Copperheads up 2-1 here at home as Hodges goes, and it will be fouled out for strike number 1. So Hodges will have to go back. As hats off to the Copperheads for just being so aggressive on the base pass right now. Multiple stolen bases, numerous to be exact.
Yeah, it's a good start for these guys in this game, and would be nice to come away with a win in front of this crowd and get your mind right, get your body right with the day off tomorrow, and come back. And couple of big series this weekend. Got, of course, have the Licking County Settlers Saturday, and then the the Ice Haulers rather series this weekend into next week.
Yeah, it'll be exciting being able to go out to that ballpark. Also going up to Cedar Point to ride some roller coasters as well while I'm there. So we'll be very excited for that trip as we see the 1-1 outside for ball number 2. So the count is 2-1 to Kyle Ratliff, who on the day has a single to center field and then was retired at second in the 1st inning and then struck out swinging back in the 3rd.
Never miss out on an opportunity for a good roller coaster, do you, Sedric?
Never, never, never. I'm still talking about the roller coaster red calls. Copperhead strike as Clayton Hodges trying to strike here for the Copperheads. It's an error, and he'll try to go to 3rd off of the mistake, and he'll be safe. Copperhead once again in scoring position. Clayton Hodges showing some solid awareness, and I'll say, of all the guys slides on the team, he has the smoothest slide into the plate.
Very Trey Turner-esque as he comes in. Kind of almost like a scoop. He drops down for the slide and then pops right back up.
So error number 3. Either going on the catcher or the second baseman. We'll see on that. The count is 3-1. Hitters count, swung on and missed there from Kyle Ratliff with Clayton Hodges on 3rd. Nobody out. Copperheads have already scored 1 in the inning. It was Carson Shepard scoring off of an REI single from Clayton Hodges. Now Clayton Hodges, for driving in a runner, will try to get rewarded with a run of his own. Can Kyle Ratliff do it? We shall see. Payoff pitch. And it's taken for strike number 3. Got him looking as that was the low portion of the zone. And Popplewell comes out with strikeout number 1.
Tough break for Kyle Ratliff. Saw something he didn't like on that lower inside part of the plate and just scraped the zone there.
Now Trey Rucker will come up. He has a strikeout and then also reached on an error. A pseudo RBI, as I'll call it, as his hit was able to drive home a run, but will go down on the stat sheet as just reaching on an error. As he'll try to drive in Clayton Hodges to try to extend the lead. As Copperheads are up 2-1. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning, Popplewell delivers his first pitch on a breaking ball that does hit the zone for strike number 1. So it's 0-1 to Trey Rucker. Copperheads are up 2-1 on 3 hits. Only 2 hits of the Cincinnati Steam. You'll see the 0-1 shows bunt and fouls it off for strike number 2. As the sun is really starting to go down here, you can see a little bit of the sun reflection off of the windows in the distance of my future dorm out there at James Hall, being RA. And a couple of other nice halls, including Bromley, the big hotel-like structure, and the left side of your screen. The 0-2 popped up high into the air, backwards into foul territory. So we'll remain at 0-2 with 1 down in the inning. Biggest difference so far is the Cincinnati Steam have committed 3 errors. Copperheads so far have been clean with 0. The 0-2 to Rucker. It's going to be hit hard into right field, and it just goes foul. It would have cleared the wall, but just missed the foul pole.
Trey Rucker will have to straighten that one out as he's still looking for his first home run of the year.
Did smoke that ball. That was his closest one yet to being a home run, as we'll see the 0-2. It's going to be a deep drive into center field and is down for a base hit. It's an RBI for Trey Rucker, and Clayton Hodges just waltzes his way over home plate for the third run of the day for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. Trey Rucker, for the second game in a row, delivers.
Good hit by Trey Rucker. Dropped it in the gap there in front of Kyle Westfall, but past Gabriel Lopez there at shortstop. Trey Rucker rewarded after reaching on the error in the first time. Now gets his second RBI of the day. First official hit. And the Copperheads in really good position to keep doing damage here to the Cincinnati Steam.
Mason Adolny swings and misses on the first pitch from Popplewell, working with one runner on and Trey Rucker at first base. Copperheads now up 3-1 over the Cincinnati Steam. Getting the crowd into it a little bit here as the momentum continues to build. This has been one of the best innings for the Copperheads in their recent 5 games, as the 0-1 is going to be chopped over to Drew Klassener. Klassener is able to throw it over. Is it in time? It is. So the fielder's choice advances Trey Rucker to second, but Mason Adolny falls, as it was a good play from Klassener and Max Freeze connecting off of the one-hop throw. Almost like a bounce pass in basketball a little bit, as here comes Bam Thomas. Bam Thomas on the day has a fly out to center field as well as a walk.
Scoring another run here would be great to kind of add to that cushion a little bit.
So Popplewell, the lefty pitcher, goes against the lefty batter of Bam Thomas, and there's a little bit of an issue with the ball, and we see a nice slide from Trey Rucker. Gets a little high five there from TJ Lanning, and see a nice little smile from Trey Rucker. And now the count is 1-0. And the Copperheads have another runner in scoring position.
I love the aggressiveness from TJ Lanning and the Copperheads today. Came out, did not want to, trying not to leave as many guys on base.
Oh, it's laced out to right field. Bam Thomas delivers an RBI, and he's going to try to turn that single into a double. He's running to second base, slides in, and he's safe. Copperheads up 4-1 here at Bob Arend Stadium as Trey Rucker comes across the plate, and the Copperheads are getting it rolling. Their most runs scored in an inning in quite a while. We'll have to go back to the Mariners game, I believe, for the Coppers to have more than 3 runs in an inning.
Something must have been in the Gatorade this morning, Sedric, because this is not the same offensive team we saw in these last couple of games, hitting a night and day difference. Every time they get a guy on, they try and get him back across the plate.
So Bam Thomas's laced out ball out to right field ends up scoring. Trey Rucker go down as a double, as Popplewell had some struggles here out the gate against the Southern Ohio Copperheads, and now Sebastian Silva will try to add to the party with 2 down in the inning. Copperheads up 4-1 off of 5 hits. And they're looking for hit number 6, says Silva, once again taking a hit by pitch. Him and Carson Shepard both have taken their fair share of hits. And he took that one right to the back. There's not a lot of padding there, but does not flinch.
Showing his toughness.
Now batting for the Copperheads, number 10, Ian Crump.
So now there's 2 runners on. Bam Thomas leading off runner at second. And you have Sebastian Silva at first. And now Ian Crump will try to get on base for the first time, just like Silva. Popplewell, the lefty, will look back, make sure Bam Thomas doesn't steal, and we see a swing and miss there from Crump for strike number 1. Copperheads with a 3 spot in this inning. That's more runs than they've had in every game since the Mariners game on the 9th. So over the last 5 days, the Copperheads, the well has been dry, but today they have found their water as they swing and miss there for strike number 2. The count is 0-2 with 2 outs here in the inning.
Got to be happy with the offensive performance of this team so far in this one. Starting to get back to Copperheads team we saw on that 4-game win streak.
0-2 fouled off backwards, so will remain 0-2 as it just got to mean a lot for the confidence of this team as well. Going against a different team, you've had to face the Settlers and their tough pitchers, their first place team, and again, that's very difficult to play that team so many times this year continuously, and it can almost make you think you're worse than you actually are playing a team like that, as Bam Thomas thinks about going, and we see another foul ball into the stands. Oh, just goes over the head of an outstretched arm of a fan in the top row. So almost got the souvenir, but it looks like some kids will go and get that. Count remains 0-2 with 2 down in the inning. Copperheads up 4-1 after they went into the bottom of the 5th tied. And Hopplewell will deliver his pitch, and it goes low. Correction, Popplewell, not Hopplewell. I was thinking that the Copperheads just jumped into the lead. That's why I said Hopplewell instead of Popplewell. There you go. So Silva and Thomas on. Corey Miley showing that he's willing to cover second base there as the 1-2 misses inside. So now the count is evened up. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Copperheads up 4-1 over the Cincinnati Steam, trying to win game number 5 against the Cincinnati Steam. They lost the series already as the Steam are up 3-1 in the series. But they can try to make it a 3-2 series as that ball misses high and inside. It's 3-2. Another payoff pitch coming as the Copperheads have done what Mitch Klass has done throughout the early portion of the season. Force high strike or high pitch counts. And now we'll see the 3-2 on its way. Payoff pitch, double steal attempt, and it is taken for a walk. So the bases are loaded with 2 outs in the inning, and it'll bring a big spot here for Maverick Stallings.
Now batting for the Copperheads, number 25,
Popplewell, 20 pitches already since he came in to this one.
And it may be enough, as it looks like Coach Dickey's going to come in and talk to Popplewell here and maybe just try to calm his guy down. Doesn't look like we see too much bullpen activity. There are some guys back there, so we might see some people start to warm up a little bit, throw a bit. But Copperheads, they're up 4-1. They put up 3 runs in this inning. Carson Shepard reached on a hit by pitch and then was driven in by Clayton Hodges on a single to right field. Clayton Hodges, for his efforts of driving in a runner, he's able to score a run himself with an RBI from Trey Rucker out into left center field. And then we saw Bam Thomas pick up the RBI, driving home Trey Rucker on a laced grounder out into right field. And that's how we're at 4-1 here in the bottom of the 5th inning, as the Copperheads have had an offensive explosion, and it was a much-needed one, as they'll need that momentum riding into the day off, as well as the tough matchups coming up this weekend against the Settlers and Ice Haulers. Speaking of those 2 teams, they're playing today, as the Ice Haulers came way down south here on a weekday to play the Settlers. As we'll see the first pitch to Stallings, too high for ball number 1. So it's 1-0 to Maverick Stallings. He has 4 RBIs on the season. He'll try to make it 5 after this one. The 1-0. It's going to be laced out in the left field. And is it caught? No, no catch. No catch. It is dropped in the outfield by Hayden Christensen. That's 2 runners getting home. Bam Thomas and Sebastian Silva, as Maverick Stallings is able to benefit off of the error.
What another well-placed ball by Maverick Stallings. And that one just, I mean, Christensen laid all the way out for that one. Just barely missed that one. What would have been an incredible diving play. I don't think they'll score that one an error just because of how difficult that was to do. But talk about this inning, Sedric. 5 runs. Copperheads haven't scored 5 runs in the last 3, like 5 runs total in their last 3 games.
It is. It's phenomenal what they've been able to do, as they've now batted around the order. As it's been a while since we could have said that. The last time was against the Grand Lake Mariners in that emphatic 14-3 victory, as Carson Shepard takes strike number 1. And earlier in this inning, he started off by getting hit by pitch. But it'll go down, especially as a 2 RBI single for Maverick Stallings out to left field. Hayden Christensen would have been able to, or would have had to use the force if he wanted to make that catch there, as it's 0-1. And now 0-2 after the pitch right over the plate to Shepard.
And a 2-out rally, too, in this inning. Most of the work been done with 2 outs. So Copperheads doing something they haven't done in the last couple of games, and that's be able to get consistent hitting with 2 outs.
The 0-2 skips across the ground and into the glove of Luke Huyn for ball number 1, as Ian Crump is on second. Maverick Stallings on first. The score is 6-1, as the Copperheads have put up 5. Yep, here at 5 in this inning. Oh, that number sounds oh so nice for this Copperhead squad, where this has been a long time coming, as we see the 1-2 swung on and missed for strike number 3. So Carson Shepard goes down on strikes, but not before the Copperheads could put up 5 runs. It was Carson Shepard, Clayton Hodges, Trey Rucker, Bam Thomas, Sebastian Silva, all coming home. Also shout out to Maverick Stallings for his RBI as well, 2 RBIs to be exact. So when we come back, the Steam will try to respond, as it'll be the top of the order with Tommy Thaman, Corey Miley, and Max Freeze in the top of the 6th inning. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the 6th inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. Copper is leading 6-1, and the top of the 6th is presented to you by OUCU Financial, where you belong. Copperheads put up a 5 spot in the bottom of the 5th inning, and they'll look to defend their lead here in the top of the 6th, as it'll be the top of the order with Tommy Thaman, Corey Miley, and Max Freeze. Last time Thaman was up, it was strikeout number 1 for Adam Beery, as we see the 1-0 pitch off the mark outside for ball number 2. Fun fact, Tommy Thaman is the first strikeout for both pitchers today. It was the first strikeout for Bohr and first strikeout for Beery. And I'll try to be the 3rd strikeout for Beery, as the 2-0 misses. So it's 3-0. 3-0 inside, but does nick the strike zone for strike number 1, as the Copperheads in steam playing game number 5. Copperheads lost the first 3, 8-15, 2-11, and a 0-6 no-hitter, as we see a pop fly out into foul territory that falls harmlessly for a strike. So now it's 3-2. And then the Cincinnati Steam and Copperheads faced on a nice 4th of July afternoon game, and the Copperheads stunned the Cincinnati Steam on the road 5-4 in extra innings. Great heart shown by the Copperheads in that game to pull off that victory, as once again Copperheads wearing their orange jerseys, Steam wearing their red jerseys. Maybe a little hard to see, but right now the Steam are hitting, as there's a deep drive out in the left field that will go just foul right in front of the bullpen of the Copperheads, and will remain at 3-2 as Beery, into his 3rd inning of work now, came in for Luke Bohr, who started off pretty well today. We'll see if we see a 3-3-3 split. Could be a potential thing we see with our pitchers today. See the payoff pitch on its way. It's going to be popped up into left field and out of play, and it's going to go down as a foul. So 3-2. It remains the count in the 6-1 game. It's one of the biggest leads the Copperheads have had in quite a while. They did lead in their game against the Joes 1-0, and the Mariners also 1-0. Other than that, though, it's been pretty tough sledding. Payoff pitch on its way. Chopped over to Bam Thomas, foul. So after 4 straight foul balls, we'll continue at 3-2, as we'll do some scoreboard watching around the league. Richmond Jazz won the first game against the Michigan Monarchs 3-1. but fell in the second game to the Monarchs 5-1. So they split that doubleheader out at Siena Heights University and pair of 7-inning affairs. So the Monarchs are at win number 21, but props to the Jazz for going on the road against one of the best teams. As we see a swing and miss there, Tommy Thaman has had a rough day. The All-Star been struck out 3 times by the pitching staff of the Copperheads.
Great job by Beery to continue to pound the zone, give him something that he's going to swing at, and not let him get away with a walk there after running up that pitch count.
As Tim said, being able to work your way back is one of the best things you can do as a pitcher, staying resilient out there on the mound, and Beery has really exemplified that all throughout the season. As we'll have Corey Miley coming up to the batter's box, and he'll take the first pitch for a ball down low, as Corey Miley out of Coppin State has a fly out to right field as well as a walk. He is the only runner to score today, as he scored on a Luke Huen sacrifice fly for the Cincinnati Steam, as the 1-0 does hit the edge of the strike zone, working that outside.
I want to wake this crowd up a little bit. The Jackie O's beer batter at the plate.
The 1-1. It's going to be chopped over to Nadolny, but it does go foul just in time. Nadolny would have been ready to throw it out there to Bam Thomas with some velocity, but it'll be 1-2. I know these fans would definitely prefer a strikeout over a ground out. As we start here in the beer chant, and it's only fitting that a pitcher named Adam Beery, yep, spelled B-E-E-R-Y, will be out here trying to deliver a strikeout against the beer batter. Adam takes his time, deals the pitch, and skips across the ground. No strikeout, and it is a strikeout. It looks like they got him looking. I didn't see the motion there from the ref, but everybody in the crowd knew the call before I did, Tim, and that's a strikeout. So hot dog hitter struck out, beer batter struck out. 2 for 2 for the Copperheads, 2 for 2 for the fans. Still 0 for 2, though, for the coaches trying to catch the foul balls on the baselines.
Yeah, we'll go live now over to the concession stand area on the left side of the press box where the beer cave is. Julian Ross and Kayla Hunter doing a great job down there, and they'll be busy here for the next couple of minutes.
So 4 strikeouts now for Beery, and now Max Freeze, who had a single the last time he was up to right field, will try to figure out Beery as he swings and misses at the 0-1 pitch. So now it's 0-2 to Max Freeze. Adam Beery with a chance to close the door here in the top of the 6th inning. Can he slam it closed? The 0-2. Oh, almost hit the batter there in Max Freeze, but he's able to slide out of the way to make it a 1-2 count. As one shocking score right now in the top of the 7th inning. The Ice Haulers up 10-1 as we see the 1-2 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? He did! Strikeout number 5 for Adam Beery. 3 strikeouts to retire the side. What a great inning there from Beery. Delivering on the beer batter as well as delivering for the Copperheads. The Copperheads are up 6-1, and for one of the first times this season, Tim, or at least first time in recent memory, the Copperheads follow up one of their best innings with a great defensive inning as well.
That's a good point, Sedric. All too often this year, we've seen the Copperheads have a really good offensive inning, and then unfortunately, whether it's errors, whether it's pitchers not being able to throw strikes, we let that lead come back. Or that lead sort of collapses a little bit. This time, Sedric, they have a big inning in the bottom of the 5th, come back out in the top of the 6th, put up a big 0 on that scoreboard up there.
So the Cincinnati Steam are a team that has mercy ruled the Copperheads and have given them no mercy. Copperheads, if they can put up 5 more runs here in the next 2 innings and not allow anything else, they have a potential to potentially return the favor. But we'll stay here. We'll do a little bit of a scoreboard update. As we said earlier, the Ice Haulers in the top of the 7th inning up 10-1 over the Licking County Settlers. That's a shocker, as the Ice Haulers are only 2-8 in their last 10 games. Licking County Settlers are in first place. So the Cincinnati Steam and Hamilton Joes are definitely big fans there of the Ice Haulers.
Yes, they are. The Ice Haulers, a team the Copperheads are going to get 4 times in the next week or so. And so they will be familiar with them, and hopefully Copperheads can go up there and steal one and hold here at home, win that series, and add that one to the list of Series 1.
And also Hamilton Joes tied with the Xenia Scouts 3-3 in a big game. Lima Locos up 10-8 over the Grand Lake Mariners. What a high-scoring affair there. As we have a new pitcher out here for the Cincinnati Steam. It's Josh Martini. Funny enough, is my girlfriend's best friend's cousin. It's like one of those excuses you would come up in school on what happened to your homework. Oh, my mother's dog's friend's cat ate it or something like that. But yeah, Josh Martini, we've seen him as a batter against the Copperheads this year. As last time that he played the Copperheads, it was in that game 1 where he went 1 for 5, 1 run. And in his last game playing, it was against the Richmond Jazz, where he went 2 for 4, 2 RBIs. But he's one of those players that can do a little bit of everything. His ERA is 1.68, struck out 3, walked 3, and he'll get to work against Clayton Hodges, who had an RBI single the last time he was up. So it'll be the first pitch here for Martini as the Copperheads lead 6-1. First pitch is taken outside for a ball. The 1-0. Good work from Hodges to see the ball really well, but fouls it off for a strike. It seems like he has pretty good touch right now on his hits. He's seeing it really well, being able to make the adjustments when need be. As we're in the bottom of the 6th inning, the 1-1 is outside from Martini. So it's 2-1 with nobody down in this inning. Copperheads up 6-1 over the Cincinnati Steam. 2-1 pitch, swung on and missed from Hodges. Pitch was up high, breaking down low, and count is evened up. 2 balls, 2 strikes for number 1-1 here for the Copperheads. 2-2 from Martini outside, and now the count is full. As no matter what pitcher it seems to be for the Cincinnati Steam, they're going to have to deal with high pitch counts as Copperheads have been doing this at a master level. As we'll see the 3-2 outside, it's a walk for Clayton Hodges. He has a pair of singles, a walk, as well as a ground out. So really solid day, 2 for 3 with a walk.
Yeah, the Copperheads, all really patient hitters. Guys that know what kind of pitches they like to hit, what kind of pitches they don't like to hit. So they'll sit back on them. If they don't like to to swing at that type of pitch, they won't. And sometimes, unfortunately, it results in high-looking strikeout numbers. But on the flip side of that, lots of walks as well.
See a pickoff attempt there at first base. Clayton Hodges slides in and is safe. And we'll see the first pitch coming to Kyle Ratliff, who has a single and a pair of strikeouts, one looking and one swinging, as he'll foul it off, and hopefully it goes out of play for the Copperheads. And it does, it did not, as Freeze tried to catch it but dropped the ball.
Weird look on that one that Freeze got. He thought it might be going over the wall out in towards the grass area outside of the field of play, and then actually ended up behind him and had to kind of lean back to potentially make the catch and just wasn't able to hold on. But
another pickoff attempt there. Hodges is safe as he's at first base. Nobody down in the bottom of the 6th inning as we're getting into the latter portion of the game here. 2 hours down as it's 9 o'clock. As we see a breaking ball, no swing there. And that's strike number 2 to number 2, Kyle Ratliff. Martini sets up on the mound, the righty pitcher. Delivers his pitch there, and it's a deep drive out in the left field. It's going back towards the wall, and it's gone. It's an hasta la vista. Number 7 for Kyle Ratliff. He's tied the Copperhead record.
Kyle Ratliff has cemented himself in Copperhead's history. 7 home runs on the year, ties Blaine Krim from that 2018 season, and will forever be in the record books here in Athens.
It's 8-1 here at Bob Wren Stadium as I'm losing my voice because Kyle Ratliff just hit it out of the park, ignited the crowd yet again. And oh my, he's been just really exhilarating throughout the entire season, doing it yet again. It's always been out to that left field area. He's had a couple of game winners, of course, this year. Nice to see one in the middle of the game as well, too, kind of mixing it up. So 8-1 as Hodges scores and Ratliff scores. 2 RBIs for Kyle Ratliff. That puts him at 27 RBIs on the season, as he's had one heck of a year. And we'll see the 1-0 pitch to Trey Rucker as the excitement starts to slow down as it goes high up in the air. The catch is made by Luke Huen for out number 1. But man, how can you not be excited whenever Kyle Ratliff comes up to the plate?
It's just incredible when you see the ball leave his bat and you just know. You automatically know. And so congratulations to Kyle. He's worked really hard this year, been a real leader of this team. And to be able to now forever cement yourself here in the record books is something really special.
There's some of the goals for the Copperheads, even if they do face elimination in either this game or the next game, is to be able to try to pull through with some of the records. Get Josh Steidel up there with home runs, maybe tying up the record. Get Kyle Ratliff to beat the record of Krem. I mean, only one more needed throughout the last 8 games. We'll be able to do it. And also just get some really good moments. Also, Copperheads on the season, their worst ever season was 16 wins, as we see the 1-1 miss by Mason Nadolny. So if the Copperheads can get to 17 wins and avoid having the worst record in the history, that could be very cool as well. Another goal to potentially fight for. And then, of course, mostly just have some fun. Get some home runs, exhilarate the crowd a little bit. And it was great to be able to see a home run. That was the Copperheads' first home run since the Zinga Scouts game back last week. The first game of the doubleheader, also by Kyle Ratliff. It was a game winner here at home. The 1-2, Martini delivers, and it's going to be a deep drive out into right field, going back towards the wall. The catch is not able to be made. Nadolny going to second base, and he will be safe. A double for Nadolny as the Copperheads are on fire right now. Not even all the rain in the world could put it out.
This is a team that completely forgot about what happened in the last 4 games, or 6 games even. Sedric came out here today with one goal in mind, to beat the Cincinnati Steam, and are playing a completely different type of baseball than we've seen in the last week, quite frankly.
So it was Kyle Westfall who tried to make the diving attempt out there, was unable to make the catch, and Mason Nadolny picking up a huge double. That was his 4th one of the season. One of the highs on the team now in that statistical category, as we'll see a meeting here with Martini as we'll sum up the inning for you. Clayton Hodge just walked to first base, and then Kyle Ratliff absolutely destroyed the ball out of the park. It'll be in the parking lot over there somewhere, as he had a 2-run shot, which scored both Hodges and, of course, himself. And then we saw Mason Nadolny fire out a double to right center field. And he's on second base right now with only 1 down in the inning. Trey Rucker had a fly out back to Luke Huen. As the Copperheads, if they can get 3 more runs and hold the Cincinnati Steam to nothing, it'll be game over in the top of the 7th inning. So we'll see. Right now it is the bottom of the 6th, and the Copperheads, if they can tack on 3 more runs, the mercy rule could potentially be in play. As we'll see the pitch taken outside from Bam Thomas. As Bam Thomas having himself a pretty solid day as well. 1 for 2 with the walk. Had that RBI, scoring Trey Rucker in a very big spot during a 2-out rally situation. The 1-0. Missing the plate left, barely, for ball number 2. As this game has just been nothing short of exhilarating here for the Copperheads. An offensive explosion. You can feel the frustration build over the days, and this is the day where it just gets to release it on a different team, the Cincinnati Steam, as the 2-0 is chopped backwards for strike number 1.
As we've talked about in these last couple of days too, Copperheads, one of their main goals now is to just continue to have fun, and as the playoffs seem a bit out of reach, you know, just want this team to come out and have fun and work hard every day. And I think both of those things are on display here today, Sedric. This team is rallying around each other. You can see the excitement in the dugout, all the kids up there hanging out, wanting to be a part of this game. And then now, of course, the runs coming together too. So now up 8-1 and feeling really good in the position they're in.
So it'll be a 3-1 pitch to Bam Thomas. Martini misses high, and now that's 2 runners on with only 1 out for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. And that'll bring on Sebastian Silva, the 7th batter in the lineup, who has a pair of strikeouts and also a hit by pitch. He also scored a run earlier today off of a Maverick Stallings 2 RBI single to left field. Copperheads up 8-1 over the Cincinnati Steam, as earlier this season the Cincinnati Steam absolutely embarrassed the Copperheads, putting up a 10 spot in the inning. Copperheads with a chance to return the favor. They did so to the Mariners, where the Mariners, they beat the Copperheads 11-1 earlier this season, and then the Copperheads returned the favor, winning 14-3 at home off of a game-winning grand slam from Ratliff, as we see the first pitch up high and outside from Martini. So the count is 1-0 with 1 down, 2 runners on, and it's all smiles up here in the booth and in the stands for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. The 1-0 pitch. Misses once again. Outside and high tends to be the place where Martini has been missing. He'll have to bring it more inside, as the count is 2-0 to Sebastian Silva. Martini sets, delivers his pitch. Breaking ball that curves just too low below the zone for ball number 3.
One thing that has been interesting, talking to a couple of the pitchers around the team just in the off time, is learning what they call tipping pitches, and it's something that Jake Jordan actually explained to me while he was on the broadcast with me earlier this year. And so if you watch how Martini will dip really low in his follow through, you kind of see him kick that leg all the way back up in the air. He does that a lot when he throws the breaking ball. So something that smart hitters see. You know, maybe they take the first breaking ball, but then they see him start to kick that back leg up again. They know he's going breaking ball again. So it's little hints that pitchers give away, and then obviously intelligent hitters are able to capitalize on things like that.
It's all about being able to track those tendencies, as we'll see a little bit of a break here as Luke Huin and Josh Martini look to talk to each other, as the Copperheads will have Ian Crump coming up here with the bases loaded, only 1 out in the inning. Ian Crump reached on a walk back in the 5th inning, his last plate appearance, and has a pair of strikeouts as well. As ever since Braxton Foley has come out of the game, the wheels have fallen off for the Cincinnati Steam.
Braxton Foley, not a bad job in this one either. Only gave up a couple of earned runs, and those first 3 innings, quite honestly, Braxton Foley was in control of this game. And something I talked about pregame, actually, was being able to get to the bullpen of this team. Do have quite a few guys that are able to play the pitcher, able to pitch, but not as many quality arms as we see in teams like Licking County, like Hamilton, like Xenia.
1-0 is up high for ball number 2. So it's about 8 straight balls now for Martini. 3 runners on, Nadoni at 3rd, Bam Thomas at 2nd, and Sebastian Silva at 1st for the Southern Ohio Copperheads, nursing an 8-1 lead. And we'll see the 2-0 swung on and missed this time by Crump.
Good take by Ian Crump. He probably saw something across the middle that he would have liked, would have been a called strike anyways. So in a good hitter's count, take a couple hacks at it.
The 2-1, this time it is over the plate for a strike, as Martini finds the strike zone on the bottom left corner. And with 3 runners on, the Copperheads, if they're able to score all the runners that are on the base pass right now, have a chance to close out the game in the top of the 7th inning. 2-2 on its way. It's outside. Ball number 3. So the count is 3-2 with 1 out. Copperheads up 8-1 here at Bob Wren Stadium in front of the home crowd. So they've seen a bevy of different runs happen over the 5th and 6th innings. 7 to be exact. The 3-2. High, and that is a walk. Martini has walked the bases, and in comes Nadoni. That's run number 9 for the Copperheads, and the bases are still loaded with 1 out. And here comes Maverick Stallings, who last time he was up, He ended up picking up the RBI, as it looks like it'll be the end of the day here for Martini. Pitched a third of an inning. And we'll see somebody else from the bullpen here of the Cincinnati Steam. But in the meantime, we'll take ourselves a little break. Copperheads are up 9-1 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. So we have returned here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Copperheads have the bases loaded right now as Ian Crump is on first, Sebastian Silva is on second, Bam Thomas on third, and Maverick Stallings coming up to the plate now going against Michael Crossan, the new pitcher here from the University of Dayton in Austin, Texas. He'll try to get things together here for the Cincinnati Steam and keep them alive as, oh my, the Copperheads have been able to put up a lot of stuff in this inning. A lot of good stuff to be exact. Kyle Ratliff with the home run, scoring Clayton Hodges. We also saw Mason Adoni coming across on the walk. And you'll see the first pitch in for a strike there from Michael Crossan. Crossan is a righty standing at 6'5", boasting a 4.35 ERA and 10 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, 6 walks. Has pitched against the Copperheads and got the loss on that 4th of July game. Pitched 1 inning, allowed 1 run. It ended up being the game winner in that game as it's a quick 0-2 count here to Maverick Stallings. And here comes the pitch. That time it is outside and high. No swing there from Stallings. The count is 1-2.
Maverick Stallings putting himself together a pretty solid day at the plate here. Obviously solid on defense as well, and limited those errors that we've seen a couple of times this year, but a really solid day at the plate as well.
The 1-2. Did he go? He did not. So now it is evened up at 2-2. Good work from Stallings, just being able to hold back just enough. The 2-2 swung on and missed for strike number 3. So Stallings goes down on strikes as Crossan picks up strikeout number 1, a much-needed one for the Cincinnati Steam. But now we're back to the top of the lineup as the Copperheads, if Carson Shepard can find a way to get on base, will be batting around the order for not the first time, but the second time in a row. Carson Shepard on the day has reached first base by a lot of unique means. One on an error, one on a hit by pitch, and then also a pair of strikeouts on the day as well. See the first pitch to Shepard swung on and missed. Going for the kill shot there is any sort of grand slam or two-run RBI sort of situation here. Give the Copperheads a chance to close it out in the top of the 7th inning.
Would be pretty awesome. See the Copperheads get this one done early, as some of these games have not dragged, but have been difficult for loyal Copperheads fans to watch. Lots of pitchers battles, and so we love the offense in this one.
So we'll see the 1-1 on its way to Carson Shepard. Right over the plate for strike number 2. So it's 1-2 with the bases loaded, 2 outs. Crossan trying to get his team out of here and get the steam out of a jam. Carson Shepard steadies himself. Crowd in the plate. The 1-2. No swing there as it went outside. Good eye from Carson Shepard. As the Cincinnati Steam, lack of a better term, have been picking up some steam as of lately. So they were in 2nd place in the playoffs. For the Copperheads, if they can complete this victory, it'll really help the Hamilton Joes, as well as keep the Copperheads alive for a potential playoff spot. As the 2-2 misses inside for ball number 3, so it's going to be a full count. 2 outs, bases loaded for the Copperheads, up 9-1 here at home.
Big time pitch here for Crossan.
Looked like we saw some stolen base attempts there. It'll go down as a walk, so Bam Thomas ends up scoring there, and the Copperheads bat around the order. Bam Thomas scores run number 10 as Carson Shepard does what he does, getting 3 different ways of getting on bases. It looked like the Copperheads kind of sensed it already early. They kind of knew with the bases loaded, you just kind of go to the next base. It was either going to be a strikeout or would be retiring the side. So Bam Thomas comes home. And now the bases are loaded here for Clayton Hodges, who started off the inning with a walk. Tell you, Tim, this will be a very interesting looking scorecard when it's all said and done. Having to move the sort of box over to the side to let people know, or let myself know for my notation, that Hodges batted twice in the 6th inning, just like how Carson Shepard had to bat twice in the 5th inning. The 0-1 fouled off backwards right over the net and going back towards the road and the river. It's 0-2. Crossan trying to get out of this inning without yielding another. Copperheads now with 8 hits. Steam only with 2. The 0-2, it's going to be hit right up the center field and is down for a base hit. Clayton Hodges delivers, and here comes Silly. He crosses the plate. Now here comes Ian Crump. He slides over the plate. That's 2 more runs for the Copperheads, and this inning has been fantastic, Tim. Just when we thought the Copperheads, oh, they scored 5 runs. That's a fantastic inning. They put up 6 the next inning. That's the way to follow it up. And next comes the man who already hit a home run in this inning and will look to up the ante here in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's 12-1.
Cedric, this is the best baseball I've seen the Copperheads play in at least a week. Even during that win streak, this team was not hitting back-to-back like they are in this game. I said it earlier. I mean, I don't know what was in that Gatorade this morning, but this team came to play once again.
They have come out with a vengeance, as it is now 12-1, as Kyle Ratliff will take the first pitch there for a ball as it was up high. As the Copperheads have an opportunity here to close out the game in 7. If they're able to have a scoreless top of the 7th inning, it'll be game over here at Bob Wren Stadium, and they'll send the Cincinnati Steam home packing with a long drive to think about this, as the 1-0 is missed there. Big swing from Kyle Ratliff, and the count is 1-1 as Kyle Ratliff on the day has a single, a pair of strikeouts, as well as home run number 7, tying Blaine Crim's record for the Copperheads. So potentially we could see history if any home runs from Kyle Ratliff throughout the rest of the year, as he swings and misses there. If you're Ratliff, you're going for that record with everything that you got. Got a couple of games to do it, but if you can do it right here at home, why not?
One thing I'll be really interested in seeing is who the Copperheads send out into the mound to try to get those final 3 outs of this game while keeping it scoreless.
So 1-2 fouled off, just a little late on the swing, and the counts 1-2 remains there. 2 outs. Copperheads up 12-1 with 2 runners on. Hodges at first, Shepard at second. Copperheads' grand total this year, or highest total for a game, is 14. As we see the 1-2 swung on and missed for strike number 3. Crossan finally gets out of the inning here for the Cincinnati Steam, but not before the Copperheads could double up and actually one up what they had in the bottom of the 5th inning by putting up 6 in the 6th inning. They're almost matching the inning total with the amount of runs. I mean, if we were to play another inning, would the Copperheads get 7 in the 7th?
With the way that this team's hitting right now, Sedric, I think it's definitely possible. And looks like we'll see Adam Beery come back out onto the mound.
Beery will try to pick up the win when we come back. Once again, Southern Ohio up 12-1 over Cincinnati. They listen to Copperhead Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the 7th inning here at Bob Ritton Stadium. Top of the 7th is presented to you by Larry's Doghouse. Speaking of dogs, the Copperheads have been dogs not only in the infield, but also at the plate as they've been dominant in this game over the Cincinnati Steam. And it's been quite a contrast from the first game to the last game in this series. Copperheads lost the first game in the series 15-8, where it seemed like the Steam just kept pouring it on and pouring it on. This time, it's the Copperheads who are the ones pouring it on and pouring it on at the end of the chapter as we see the first pitch to Luke Hewin as Adam Beery will try to finish off the game here and pick up the victory for his squad.
Adam Beery, if he can pitch like he did in that last inning, just continue to pound that zone, and serve up pitches that they're willing to swing at, then this game will be over, Sedric.
1-1 to Luke Hewin, who on the day has a 5-3 ground out and a sacrifice fly, scoring the only run of the day for the Cincinnati Steam. As we'll see the 1-1 pitch on its way, swung on and missed for strike number 2. Beery has 5 strikeouts in the top of the 6th inning. He struck out all 3 batters faced as that 6th inning, alongside the Mariners' 7th inning, will go down as the best innings of the year for the Copperheads this season. especially with both sides playing well. As the 1-2 pitch is up high for ball number 2. Huin does not chase after it. And the count is 2-2 with nobody on. Copperheads up 12-1. Yes, you heard me, 12-1.
Can't forget about that 10-run inning against the Grand Lake Mariners, but I think these 2 innings, the 5th and the 6th, are two of the best complete innings all around. Didn't give up runs in the top, and then scored 11 runs in the bottom of both the 5th and the 6th inning. So I think that's the best complete baseball that we've seen from this team in a really long time.
It's a long time coming for the Copperheads, who've had a few rough games as of lately, and now the 3-2 has popped up high in the air and back towards the stands. As the Copperheads have had 5 straight losses leading into this game, and now in elimination territory, they have a shot to keep themselves alive here for the time being. As we'll take looks around the rest of the league here, as some games should probably start to be final now, as Sandusky Ice Haulers run rule the Licking County Settlers, so that'll shake things up. As there's a pair of upsets, the Sandusky Ice Haulers sitting on the lower side of the North Division upset the #1 Licking County Settlers. We saw the Richmond Jazz on the lower side of the South, as we see a deep hit drive out into left field right in front of Clayton Hodges, so single there from Luke Huin. With 1 runner on, it'll bring on the next batter, and Hayden Christensen, who has a strikeout and a ground out. Cincinnati Steam, if they are able to score 2 runs, they'll be able to keep this game alive. But other games right now that have a lot of implications, the Zynga Scouts lead the Hamilton Joes 4-3, as the Joes have been having issues winning as of lately. As we see a deep drive out in the left field, Hodges makes the catch, no problem, makes the throw back out into the infield, 1 down.
2 straight balls hit out there to Hodges. 1 to his feet, now 1 up into the glove, slash the leather. 2 outs away. Here's Sedric with a runner on first base.
Kyle Westfall with a strikeout and a walk on his day, and was stranded at third base back in the 5th inning. As Lima Locos up 12-8 over the Grand Lake Mariners in the bottom of the 7th, as we see strike number 1. The Muskegon Clippers are beating Jetbox 10-4, and then the Michigan Monarchs and Richmond Jazz, they split their series, but Michigan Monarchs, one of the best teams in the league, so hats off to the Jazz for getting a victory on the road, traveling all the way up from Indiana to Michigan for that game.
About a 3-hour drive from Richmond to Adrian.
The 0-1 is swung on and missed. And Tim, if I recall right, didn't you have to make that drive earlier this season?
I did, yeah. The Friday, we played a series Friday against this, or a game Friday against the Steam in Richmond, and then a game Sunday against the Richmond Jazz, both games at McBride Stadium. And
ooh, that's a deep drive out in the left field. It's over the head of Hodges, hits against the wall out in left field, and that's a single for Kyle Westfall. But good work for the Copperheads to avoid that from being an extra base hit, keeping the runners at second and first. Hodges at left field has really been holding down the fort so far to this whole home stretch.
I talked about it in the game the other day, but Hodges out there in left knew that one was getting over his head, knew it was going to stay in the park, but getting over his head. So what he does is he lays back off of it a little bit, lets it bounce off the wall, catches it on that first hop, and then able to do a quick turn and fire that back into the infield. Mason Adolny on the receiving end of that to hold that runner at second.
The first pitch out to Drew Klasener misses for a ball. So with 2 runners on, it's a lot of people working the left side of the field. Huin had a single. Now Westfall with the single. Beery delivers the 1-0 against the ground for a ball. So it's 2-0 to Drew Klasener, who has a single and a strikeout. He's retired after hitting that single, as Gabriel Lopez later in that inning hit into a double play. Jeffrey Butler is on deck as Beery has a shot to get the Copperheads through with this game and pick up the win, as he delivers a strike right there, hitting the edge of the zone perfectly. So now it's 2-1 with 1 out, 2 runners on in Westfall and Huin. Copperheads lead 12-1 and are trying to preserve the run rule.
Do have 1 run to give, if at all necessary.
2-1 is going to be hit out into right field, right between the first and second base paths. And Huon looks like he's going to try to go all the way home. He decides to go back to third base as it was a great throw out there from Trey Rucker, getting it out to Silva to prevent the play at home.
Outfielders on their toes in this one, prepared to make that throw. Sebastian Silva behind the dish, prepared to receive that throw. If the runners decide to maybe get a little bit greedy and try and take an extra base here in this one to keep this game alive.
So bases are now loaded as after a pair of left field hits, we see a right field hit. And first pitch to Jeffrey Butler is taken for a strike. For a strike. So it's 0-2. Chance for a strikeout with the bases loaded here for Beery. Swung on and missed. That's strike number 3. Beery with his 6th strikeout of the day.
Good recovery there from Adam Beery. Now just 1 out away from ending this game.
Gabriel Lopez has hit into a double play and hit into a 6-3 play to Maverick Stallings so far on the day. Both retiring the side. And Beery will look to retire the side once again against Lopez as we see the first pitch to number 1. Oh, a breaking ball that breaks in perfectly for strike number 1. So the 0-1 was fouled off for strike number 2 as you see the crowd starting to say, let's go Beery, as Gabriel Lopez, the last strike here for his squad. Here it is, the 0-2 pitch. Chopped over to Mason Nadoni, fields it on one hop, throws it out to first base. Biff Thomas makes the catch. It's in time. It retires the side. Copperheads run rule the Cincinnati Steam 12-1 here at home.
What a great all-around team performance from this team today, Sedric. I'm trying to even rack my brain at the last time we've seen this team play such a good game all together, top to bottom, start to finish. And just what a night for the Copperheads. Tough stretch in this last week and a half of baseball, and now finally able to just get things done here.
They sure did. The Copperheads with win number 12 on the year. They do stay alive in the playoff picture as anything is still possible here in the GLSEL. Copperheads will need a lot of help and a lot of work, but it is still alive, and that's all that matters. And if the Copperheads can keep winning, they'll have to win the rest of their games the rest of the way out. They will have a shot at a playoff berth, or at least for a positive record, or more accurately, a 500 record. Cincinnati Steam, that is a loss they could not have as they are fallen to 17-14. They are right now tied with the Hamilton Joes and awaiting the Hamilton Joes and Zinga Scouts game, where last time we checked, the Zinga Scouts are ahead. It's the top of the 9th inning out there at Foundation Field. Scouts still lead 4-3, trying to work on that lead. But we'll take a short break as we get all the stats compiled and everything like that. Once again, Copperheads victorious, 12-1 on a mercy rule. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. So the Copperheads were victorious 12-1 today, and a couple of the big runs that were driven in the 5th inning was made by Maverick Stallings. And Maverick, again, this is a game where you guys put up so many runs after all these frustrating days. How did it feel to get out there and put up a lot of runs?
Oh, it felt great. I mean, come out to see the offense working like that, getting hits in key situations, having good at-bats, working in walks. It felt great, really. Putting up that 5 spot and the 6 spot, it felt good. Felt really good.
Awesome. And going back into that 5th inning, you delivered one of the biggest hits right there, driving in a couple of your teammates home. How did it feel on that at-bat when you made that hit?
Felt really good. I was seeing that lefty really well. Threw me a fastball I could handle, and I hit it good. Saw it well, so it was nice.
Coming into this game, the last 3 games, you guys hadn't even scored a total of 5 runs. Now put 5 runs in an inning, 6 runs in an inning. What kind of things did you guys do adjustment-wise to kind of string those hits together more?
I think preparation's a big part of it. Just taking the swing serious in BP, and I knew before the game even started the way we were swinging it during BP and just hitting every ball hard. I knew it was going to be a good day at the plate for the team, so it was awesome.
Yeah, not to understate this as well, too, you guys not only put up a lot of runs, but you held a team to less than 3 yet again. And you held the Settlers a couple times to a low score, and now you held the Cincinnati Steam, who've been a very dangerous team as well, to 1. How have you guys been so sharp on the infield? What's been going right for you guys?
Just getting better with more work we get, the more ground balls we take, just fielding them cleaner, just making the plays. And pitchers came out and did a really good job tonight, throwing strikes, making pitches, getting outs, weak contact, stuff like that. So I think that was a big part of it.
And last thing, Maverick, anything to say about the crowd here today at Bob Marin Stadium?
Oh, I love the Copperheads fans. It was electric out here tonight.
Sure
electric,
was.
yeah.
And
only word I got.
You helped to ignite it there.
Oh, yeah. Always got to hype up the fans.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Once again, Maverick, thank you for sitting up here with us.
Appreciate the time.
Anytime.
Maverick Stallings, everybody. Copperheads winning today 12-1 over the Cincinnati Steam.
Go
Keep it
Cheads.
rolling.
Go Cheads.
They're all out in the hallway. We'll just keep it rolling.
Who do you want?
Whoever's next. Come face the music. These hard-hitting journalists in here.
Hey, it's Clayton Hodges. What's up, man?
What's going on, guys?
So we got Clayton Hodges joining us right here. You had a great day. You went 3 for 5. You were able to drive in a couple of RBIs. Just what are some of the things that went right for today that had you guys put up such a big amount of runs?
We were working the count pretty well. We kind of started off a little bit rough, scoreless in the first 2 innings, and then scratched a run, and then in the 5th and 6th, we just stacked ABs together, and that's how you win ball games. Just keep stacking ABs and passing the baton on to the next guys. So.
Of course. Yeah. And again, you guys forced a lot of full counts. You were able to, although the first pitcher was really good, had 10 strikeouts on the day, you guys were able to drive him out of the game and force it into the bullpen. What did that mean for you guys to be able to just knock out the first guy?
It felt good, you guys know we've kind of had ups and downs of the season, so it always feels good to be able to see the ball well and barrel balls up. So, yeah, it felt real good.
You started to kind of come into your own as a hitter, a little bit of a slower start to the season. Now that you're playing on a more consistent basis, you've been playing pretty well these last couple of games. What's been the biggest improvement in your eyes as far as your hitting goes?
I think hitting is 100%, or not 100%, probably 90% mental. When you're in a slump, just keep pushing, keep going. You can't ever get down on yourself because, today I hit 3 balls barely off the end of the bat. Didn't really get any barrels, and then there's been games this season where I've had 3 balls that I've hit right on the screws, just right at people. It's nice to get those balls to fall, and it's nice to get a good win.
Awesome. And then speaking back to the other side as well, with you playing at left field, you looked super solid over there over the last couple of games, especially being able to throw it all the way down. We saw you get it to Jordan Long in the last game as well to get an out, and then also deliver a throw to keep the runners on when the bases were loaded in the 7th inning. Where have you seen improvements in your game out there at left field?
I just try and play defense as hard as I can all the time. The main thing in the outfield is you just want to get the ball in as quick as you can. So that's really all I try and do. Try and hustle and get after balls and lay out for balls and just put my body on the line and get the ball into the infield as quick as I can.
Well, the effort is definitely there, Clayton. And again, thank you for coming up with us. Congratulations on the big win.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, thanks for sitting down with us.
Yep.
All right, who's next? Anybody else out there or just Coach? Oh, Mr. Home Run. There he is.
There he is. Kyle, what's happening?
He's got to be tired of talking to us at this point.
Love talking to you guys.
All right, we're here with Kyle Ralph. You just tied the record of Blaine Krim, who had 7 home runs back in 2018. Now you have 7 home runs yourself. How did it feel being able to tie that record?
Yeah, it felt great, definitely. I didn't even, know there was a record or was anything like that until, about a week ago. And so some guys started talking to me about it and saying I was getting close. And not really something I put a whole lot of focus on, but, to be able to do it is definitely a blessing. But, never satisfied.
Of course. And just take me in your head on that at-bat. You're going against their pitcher, a new guy who just kind of came in. What did you see there?
So kind of just struggled today. Really was not a good day for me and not something I'm proud of. But at the end of the day, you got a new at-bat every single time. And so going in there and seeing, different pitches. And just today was a big day for me about adjustments, adjusting and, not having the results I want, but still trying to achieve them. And so going up into the plate, I just I was looking more location than a specific pitch and just waited for that ball to drop right where I wanted it to, and we had a good result.
Yeah, and then another thing, Kyle, one thing I wanted to point out to you, so far throughout the month of July, you have a hit in every single game, and that's including the All-Star game as well. So, again, that's some big improvement as well. Have you seen yourself improve throughout the summer?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a very strenuous season and on the body and playing every single day and, not really having many off days. So playing every day it's hard mentally and physically. And so, this time of the year in the summers, this is where everybody starts to get really drained and, you got to really find it, deep down and want to come out and play every day. And so being able to do that, I feel like was a big improvement for me because my college season was a little shorter this year. And so coming out here and playing every day and still finding a way to scrap, a hit or two every single game was definitely something I'm proud of.
Awesome. And Kyle, last question. With that being said, having the rest day, what does that mean for you as well as your teammates after having so many games in a row, the All-Star game as well? How does it feel to have a day off tomorrow?
That's huge, and I know we're all looking forward to it. And it's going to be an early night for me and a very late morning for me tomorrow. So I'm going to sleep very well and, try to recuperate the body and get ready for Sandusky. So.
Yep, you guys deserve it. Kyle, once again, congratulations.
Thank you guys very much.
Thanks, Kyle.
You.
And then we'll pass it on to our next one in the line here. Yep, no problem, Kyle.
Oh, shit. Anybody else?
Should either be another player or Coach Lanning. We'll see.
Take a quick little recap here, I guess.
Yeah, so the Copperheads, they went crazy with the bats here today as it started off a little bit slow as we can't fail to mention how Braxton Foley had 10 strikeouts. It's very
I know
rare
it's kind of weird. It seemed to have gotten lost in the game. We started off this game 10 strikeouts. Copperheads and Steam were locked in this one 1-1. We thought we were going to have a pitcher's battle. Luke Bohr came out, pitched really well. I believe he had 8 strikeouts, 6 or 8 strikeouts, and then Adam Beery came in, started collecting those strikeouts as well. So we thought we were locked in for a pitcher's duel, and then all of a sudden, boom, 5th inning, 5 runs. Boom, 6th inning, 6 runs. And we're going home early tonight, Sedric.
It is. That's how quickly games can change in this league, Tim, and that's how quickly things can change in a season. As the Cincinnati team, they've shown you they were taking in the 2nd place spot in the GLSEL South, and now they've been pushed right back down to 3rd place and now in the mix for a playoff spot, and they'd rather be cheering for the Xenia Scouts right now as they're trying to pull off the upset over the Hamilton Joes. The Licking County Settlers, they lost today as well, so right now everything going the Copperheads' way. Of course, it is very unlikely that they're able to make the playoffs, but hey, you're giving yourself a shot if you win games like this.
Yeah, mathematically, I mean, they're still very much in it. Do need a little bit of help from, I believe, Xenia and Richmond to kind of just keep chipping away at the Joes, the Settlers, and the Steam. But Copperheads, I mean, this really was, I think, the best game we've seen them play in a really long time.
It is. It's finally again, the part that we needed to catch up was the bats. The Copperheads pitching has been stellar over the last couple of games, they haven't given up more than 5 runs since that game out in Grand Lake and the game out in Hamilton. So ever since they started their Settler series, they have been doing phenomenal out there. And that's just hats off to the entire pitching staff all coming in and producing and also showing some great improvement. Even guys who have struggled earlier on in the season have been able to come in and pitch a solid 1 or pitch a solid 2 innings. And then whenever it's the day where Bohr and Beery are paired together, it's a very dangerous combination. And I believe the Copperheads can beat anybody when those two are on the mound.
It is, and now 2 times in a row we've seen Beery and Boer come in and absolutely shut down the Cincinnati Steam offense. They had that 15 in the first one and a couple other really high scores in those first 3 games. And then starting on July 4th, when we went down there to play them, Beery and Boer came in. I believe they only allowed 4 runs total, 3 or 4 runs in that game total, and now only 1 here tonight. So really starting to come together for this team.
Certainly are. Well, looking ahead, the Copperheads will have the Licking County Settlers coming up on Saturday, a familiar foe. Copperheads have lost to them 6 times this season, but hopefully now they'll have a newfound confidence. They'll also have a day of rest when we come back as well, which is going to be exciting. So it'll be on Saturday night at 7:05. I'll be on the call for that. Tim, you'll be out there at drill. We wish you the best of luck out there and also the best for your training and everything.
Yeah.
That's why you had to shave off the mustache and beard.
Yeah, I was telling everybody earlier it takes about 5 years off my appearance, so I don't know. I'm probably not going to keep it. I'll let it grow back out the rest of the summer before I take off, but we'll see. New look.
Yeah, a little new look. You'll probably have to show your ID a little bit, though, at the bars.
Oh,
tonight.
definitely. Definitely.
Well, the Copperheads, once again, were victorious 12-1 today. And it was one emphatic day as many Copperheads score. We'll do a little quick run of who scored. Carson Shepard had 2 runs today. Hodges with 2. Ratliff with 1. Rucker with 1. Nadoni with the run. Thomas with 2. Silva with 2 runs. Crump with a run. And Stallings had himself a couple of RBIs as well. So everybody getting into the mix as well as the Copperheads defeat the Cincinnati Steam for win number 12. And we got Coach Lanning.
Come on in,
hey,
Coach.
come in, Coach Lanning. Yeah, why not? Why not? Hey, won 12-1 today. Look absolutely dominant. Yes, Coach Lanning, I know it's all smiles. I saw, of course, a lot of smiles exchanged there when you were over there at third base, giving some smiles to some guys. And Trey Rucker stole a base and everything like that. I think one thing that really stood out about the early portion of the game, you had guys that kept putting themselves in position to score through really aggressive just base running and everything like that. So, again, just speak to me about that on the stolen bases as well as just your team's effort tonight.
Yeah, no, my goal tonight was to create as much chaos on the bases as much as possible. You know, that's why I stuck Hodges, Ratliff, and Rucker right there in the 2, 3, 4 spot right there, and I wanted to steal all night long. You know, that was our get the third base less than 2 outs was my goal tonight, and then maybe good things happen, which, I mean, in the first few innings, good things didn't happen. We left a lot of guys on in the first 2 innings, and then we finally started to come alive in the middle half of the game, which was really good. But no, that was my plan the whole time, was to get the speed up there at the top of the lineup and just cause chaos on the bases.
That's one thing we talked about when we were going through the post-game notes. There was 10 strikeouts in those first 4 innings from Braxton Foley. And
yes.
It kind of just got lost in the game because as soon as he left the game, it was – you guys were pretty much in completely control after he exited the game. So we were talking about it too, and it seems like this was kind of the most all-around complete performance that we've seen since the last time you guys run-ruled the Grand Lake Mariners here a couple of weeks ago.
No, it really was. You know, we played the game how it should have been played all summer long. You know, it sucks that it's taken it coming down to the last few weeks for us to finally put it together, and some guys finally understanding, like, Coach, that's what you meant when you said with this approach and doing this and that, you know. So, you know, it's going to click, you know, to these guys. Some guys think they know it a little bit more than us coaches do, but, you know, it's all about the learning experience for these guys. But I'm proud of what they've done this summer so far. You know, we have the chance to upset the #1 team here coming up here this week and next week. So, I mean, it's something we're looking forward to doing. It's knocking some #1 teams down. You know, we just took down Cincy right there. They were #2 coming in today. So we're going to upset some people and make it hard for them.
It is being that snake in the grass, so to speak. And also speaking on to the next game against the Licking County Settlers, Cincinnati Steam, they're a team that beat you 3 straight times to start the year. Now you guys have beat them twice. And not only did you beat them in exciting fashion on the 4th of July, but now you blew them out. What does that mean just for the mental strength of this team to know that they can beat anybody, even if it starts out with the series looking rough?
Yeah, no, we can hang with anyone in the league. It's just if these guys want to show up and play. You know, we just got to play defense, pitch strikes, and get some timely hitting. And we do all that, we can hang out. We can hang with any team in this league. I truly believe that. I mean, when we were at the All-Star game the other day, all the South Division coaches were hanging out in the dugout, and they really thought we were going to be the team to beat this summer. You know, we started off hot. We come in here, beat the Grand Lake Mariners, then we go beat the Joes, then we go beat I can't remember who the third team was, but
the Richmond Jazz.
Richmond Jazz. You know, they thought we were going to be the team that had to be beaten this year, but you know, things didn't go our way. But it's all right. You know, it's a learning experience for all of us. But you know, these guys are afraid of us just because we can stay in ball games and scrap.
Course, and there's going to be a lot of teams that are not looking forward to playing the Copperheads, specifically the Settlers, as well as the Ice Haulers who will be coming up. And I'll also inform you, the Settlers, they got run ruled at home today by the Ice Haulers, 11-1. They got smoked.
Alrighty, so let's go give it to the Ice Haulers and try and knock off the Settlers.
Let's do it.
As well, we know anything is possible in the GLSCL. Coach Lanning, thank you for sitting with us. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
So for Sedric Granger, Tim Hanna, and Coach Lanning, Copperheads were victorious 12-1 today here at Bob Wren Stadium. Take care.